trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. No real details yet on the exact deal between the U.S. and Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. President Trump speaking this morning at the G7 summit in France.
I didn't want to attack them last week, but we had no choice. And we did it twice, actually. We were doing it a third time, and we were able to not have to do that. But we have a deal that's a fair deal. It's a good deal.
One major question now, Israel's operation in Lebanon. Iran's top diplomat says the deal ending the war with the U.S. also means Israel has to pull out of Lebanon. But so far, Israel's prime minister says his troops are staying. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky at the G7 pressing for more help in the war against Russia. Ukraine also officially starting talks to join the European Union. That process could take several years. Cause of the crash of a B-52 bomber in Southern California under investigation. All 8 people on board were killed. The plane went down right after takeoff. This is ABC News. Hundreds of beagles rescued from Rigland Farms, a research facility in Wisconsin.
In June 2024, a routine inspection uncovered multiple animal care violations. Then in September, a follow-up inspection found twice as many violations. In January 2025, a judge appointed a special prosecutor to investigate Rigland Farms. And in October, Rigland agreed to surrender its breeding license by July this year to avoid felony animal mistreatment charges, an accusation the company denied.
ABC's Sophie Flay. The dogs will be going to a shelter called Big Dog Ranch Rescue, run by Lori Simmons. She says all of the beagles have been taken from the facility and will be treated humanely from here on out.
No more breeding, no more selling, no more testing, and full closure. Not one dog will remain.
She says once the dogs are vetted and neutered, they will be adopted by families all over the country. I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
It is 6:02. And right now we've got sunshine, 59 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. The heat will be back tomorrow. Full forecast from AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg is upcoming. Work is underway to fill a massive sinkhole that opened underneath an interstate in downtown St. Louis.
Well, I'm outside the large sinkhole that opened up under I-44 over the weekend, and this thing is massive, far bigger than any swimming pool, and hard to tell right now exactly how deep it is because construction crews are on hand from MoDOT. They've got a perimeter around it fenced off so they can begin repairing this sinkhole that, as you look at it compared to the supports for I-44, it is within feet of some of the supports for I-44. Certainly lucky that this sinkhole opening up wasn't a much larger disaster for the city of St. Louis. Now, as for the repair timeline, that's TBD. Right now, MoDOT is saying they anticipate I-44, this stretch here through downtown St. Louis, to be closed at least a week. How much longer than that remains to be seen. Across from the Dome at America Center, Sean Malone, KMOX News.
There could be an upside to driverless cars in St. Louis.
Waymo, the robotaxi company that's been testing on St. Louis roads since December, plans to eventually put its cars to a second use in another test city, New Orleans. Ashley Becknoll, an attorney for the New Orleans City Council, says the self-driving vehicles are sizing up the city's pavement as they drive.
The purpose of these driver tests that they're currently doing is to gather data about the state of our roadways. I know one of the specific metrics they mentioned to us is that they're creating a detailed map of potholes that they will share with the city. I'm sure that will be voluminous.
Waymo's pothole mapping program is operating fully already in 5 cities where its cars operate completely driverless, and the company says it's logged about 500 potholes in those places so far. St. Louis is not on that list yet. The cars here are still in early testing with human drivers after a Missouri driverless car law stalled this spring. Whether our roads get the same treatment is still an open question. We've reached out to Waymo. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
A teen takeover was broken up this weekend in downtown St. Louis. St. Louis police say over 100 juveniles gathered downtown Saturday evening. Mitch McCoy, the police spokesman, says once the takeover moved to a city park, where they were in violation of curfew.
16 juveniles that were detained. 3 were actually arrested for resisting arrest or for fighting. The youngest involved in a fight was 13 years old.
McCoy says conversations are underway about whether to amend the city's curfew like was done this past spring break. He adds a parent was also cited for contributing to the delinquency of a minor, and they found many of the kids were transported by Uber or Lyft.
Convicted serial rapist Yahya Mali is set to face sentencing this morning. The 29-year-old convicted in April on 17 counts, including 4 counts of first-degree rape or attempted rape, 8 counts of second-degree rape, and 5 counts of first-degree sodomy. Prosecutors say Mali sexually assaulted 7 women at his apartment in Baldwin after meeting them on dating apps. In April, it was recommended that he get 319 years in prison. His sentencing is this morning at 9 in Clayton.
The controversy surrounding police camera technology is spreading from U-City to Clayton. We've told you about University Citians successfully pressuring their council to halt a camera expansion after allegations the hardware could include undisclosed microphones. Now, some Clayton residents want a closer look at their own town's contract.
Edward Fisher warns his council not to trust the surveillance giants.
I hate them. I think they're a complete intrusion in people's lives. AI surveillance. The FLAC representatives lie to city councils repeatedly. We just recently saw in U-City, the council just found out that they had microphones on their FLAC cameras where they didn't think they did. They're atrocious surveillance tools, and we shouldn't have them in the city.
The camera company Flock has maintained its audio detection technology is designed for gunshot identification, not to record private conversations. Clayton council members listened to comments but didn't indicate that they'd reevaluate their surveillance contract.
The Partnership for Regional Alignment is something the East-West Gateway Council of Governments has been working on for about a year. Today, the Executive Advisory Council is meeting to talk about hiring a consultant.
Some social media posts suggest this is another attempt at a city-county merger. East-West Gateway Executive Director Jim Wild says it's not.
This is about collaboration, aligning work. We've not even talked about merger, reunification, reentry, any of the different forms that might take. This is about kind of the base functional things that we do as a region, and that we need to have a North Star.
The consultant will help engage leaders from the 8-county bi-state region in a multitude of fields, including business, government, arts and culture, philanthropy, higher education, economic development, and others. Wild tells KMOX they have the consultant narrowed down to 1. However, the vote from East-West Gateway Council of Governments happens next Wednesday. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
It is now 6:08, and we're going to check traffic and weather for you. Stay with us here on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's time to slide into a deal with Seidenstrucker Nobe Partners. Right now, catch 0% financing for 84 months on a John Deere 1025R compact tractor package for as low as $269 a month. This one machine is built to do it all. Mow, move, dig, and clear with ease. Don't wait. This offer ends June 30th. Slide into a deal today at Seidenstrucker Nobe Partners, snpartners.com.
Offer valid through 6/30/2026. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
Grammy award-winning quintet Punch Brothers returns to Powell Hall for a special evening of genre-defying contemporary bluegrass music, featuring the virtuosic talents of mandolinist Chris Thiele, guitarist Chris Eldridge, bassist Paul Cowart, banjoist Noam Pikielny, and violinist Brittany Haas. Punch Brothers creates music and lyrics that are both intellectually daring and emotionally resonant. This is modern string music at its most thrilling, bold, brilliant, and unforgettable. Wednesday, June 24th at Powell Hall at the Jack C. Taylor Music Center. Tickets at slso.org.
Let me tell you something about insurance. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year, so do the gaps and the risk. So go to supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. Supersure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
Historic night for Dustin May at Busch Stadium. That's coming in 5 minutes. Right now it's 6:10. Roger Brand is in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, things continue to improve downtown, Tommy. In a way, that incident eastbound, east of the Poplar Street Bridge, just before the top of the hour, they cleared it. It thinned out, and westbound is pretty well thinned out as well. It's just a little busy at the split there at the work zone, just past the King Bridge. Just a little slowdown there, so there's no longer a jam either direction. So that's great to see. And it's still look bad downtown. Of course, 44 still closed between the Poplar and Musewell Veterans Bridges. Eastbound 44 approaching the Poplar, coming up from Park looks fine. 70 starting to slow a little bit right as you approach Tucker, but there's no delays getting up to that point. So really still okay on both sides of the river for you downtown right now. They call out EMS. I saw one of the EMS vehicles go eastbound 70 to southbound Earth City Expressway, southbound 141. There's an injury crash reported in the area. I can tell you it's not on eastbound 70. That's fine, but it may be somewhere at the end of the ramp or maybe on 141 there in the area. They are looking for it, but they've had a couple of call-outs for EMS crews. Next update at 6:20 from the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
After a disaster, emotional recovery takes time. Show Me Hope Missouri is here for you with free confidential support. Counselors help with stress, coping skills, and connect to resources. If the St. Louis tornado impacted you, visit moshowmehope.org from Missouri Department of Mental Health.
Intervals of clouds and sunshine today. Watch out for a shower and thunderstorm to cross the area from late morning on. The breeze will pick up this afternoon. The high today near 80. Partly cloudy tonight, 65. Tomorrow, a mix of sun and clouds, windy, hot, and more humid with a high of 90 to 94. There can be a couple of strong to severe thunderstorms around late tomorrow afternoon and early tomorrow night. They can produce flooding downpours, contain hail, damaging winds, and even a tornado. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is sunny out there this morning and 59 degrees right now in downtown St. Louis.
It's 6:12 in the news this morning. A man is rushed to the hospital after being shot in an East St. Louis metro station. East St. Louis police this morning and Illinois State Police responded to the shooting just before 4 at the Emerson Park Metro Transit Station. Our partners at Fox 2 report a male victim was seen on the ground of the bus loop with an apparent gunshot wound. At this time, there is no word on any potential suspects. We will continue to provide updates as they become available.
A woman who killed her sleeping roommate at an assisted living facility by pouring scalding vegetable oil on her while she slept has been sentenced to 12 years in prison. 69-year-old Oliveri Jones reached that agreement with prosecutors Monday. The victim had pulmonary disease, and the medical examiner testified that burns aggravated her lung disorder, causing her death. This happened in 2022 at a facility in Walnut Park East.
Experts say 75% of elder abuse perpetrators are known and trusted family members or caregivers. Marjorie Moore, CEO of Age Smart Community Resources, joined Total Information AM to talk about World Elder Abuse Awareness Day.
We'll see a caregiver who, slowly starts helping and then moves in, alienates somebody from the rest of their family member and ends up becoming a power of attorney and basically putting the person out.
Moore says in other cases, caregivers simply start skimming money from someone's accounts until they're destitute. She says if you suspect an older adult is being abused or neglected, contact Adult Protective Services in your state or area agencies on aging.
Elderly adults living with mental illnesses will soon have more housing options in St. Louis. The Independent Center is opening 38 new independent living apartments for seniors who need additional support, especially those who are homeless or living in poor conditions. Trish Holmes leads the Independent Center and says seniors often face more barriers to mental health treatment as they usually face higher rates of isolation.
Having a safe, affordable home in a community that understands the struggles that you may be facing is so important to one's ability to just feel like they have a great quality of life and that they're here with a purpose.
The U.S. Department of Justice says the merger between Paramount and Warner Brothers is not likely to harm competition in the entertainment industry. The statement comes after an 8-month investigation involving over 2 million documents, according to the DOJ. It says the merger will increase competition in the industry, in addition to benefiting American consumers and workers, and that the merging of Warner Brothers with another company is something the industry has survived several times before.
The World Cup is drawing big audiences in St. Louis. According to Fox Sports, St. Louis ranked in the top 5 in the nation for people watching the USA-Paraguay match. That was a 7.3 rating in St. Louis. Only Kansas City, Boston, and San Diego did better. Kansas City led the entire country with a 9.2 and a 29 share of all TVs on.
Captain of the U.S. team is from St. Louis, Tim Ream. And certainly the story of the World Cup yesterday was Spain and Cape Verde ended up in a 0-0 tie. That is a shocker, with Spain one of the favorites to win it all. Meanwhile, that story was topped by Dustin May and what he accomplished yesterday at Busch Stadium. Things were going well for him early, got some run support.
One delivery is hit towards left center field, towards the gap, and it's going to get down. Between the left fielder and the center fielder, it's bobbled now by Merrill. 2 runs are going to score.
2-run double for Jimmy Crooks, and then this play.
The 2-1. That is stroked to left field. Newbar dives. He makes the catch. That seemed to be destined for the first hit of the game off Dustin May, and Newbar said, not so fast. What a star on that play.
Yes, you heard that right. Hadn't allowed a hit. Now we go to the 6th, and May's really cooking.
The pitch is swung on and missed. The 3rd strikeout for May. 2-2 on Song with Duran on deck. The pitch. Swing and a miss. He got him. Threw him a cutter. Tied him up. Back-to-back strikeouts. 4 strikeouts now. Here's Duran with the 1-2 pitch coming his way. Swing and a miss! Struck him out. He struck out the side as May gets a 1-2-3 6th inning. We go to the home half. The Cardinals lead the Padres 3-0.
To the 8th inning we go. A hit is allowed in this contest by May. He retired the first 18 that he faced. He had a perfect game going, but in the 7th inning, he did issue a walk to Fernando Tatis Jr., and then Manny Machado had a ground ball that saw its way into the outfield. But in the 8th, May's back out there. He's pumped. He's fist pumping. He's striking out Padres.
Swing and a miss. France strikes out, and for the 2nd time tonight, Dustin May strikes out the side. Give him 8 strikeouts through 8 innings.
He's on a mission. In the 9th, he goes back out there. He gets 2 flyouts, and the last chance is Tatis.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and nobody on. The Padres are down to their last strike. May with the windup. The 1-2 pitch to Fernando Tatis Jr. Swing and a miss. That's a Redbird winner. That's a 1-hitter. That's a shutout for Dustin May. Light up the night. Light it up in downtown St. Louis as the Cardinals celebrate a great pitching performance and 2 out RBIs, 2 for Jimmy Crooks, 1 for Alec Burleson. The Cardinals blank the San Diego Padres 3-0.
With more, here's Matt Pauley.
Dustin May pitches the Cardinals to a 3-0 win against the Padres. May is fantastic with the team's best pitching performance of the season, throwing a complete game 1-hit shutout. He throws it to rookie catcher Jimmy Crooks, who does not have much experience catching May. Manager Oliver Marmol says this kind of pitching performance reflects well on Crooks.
It speaks to Dustin's stuff, but it also speaks to Crooks's overall preparation. We said it early on, even last year, he comes into those meetings and he has input. He's prepared. He knows what May does well, and then he's going to know the opposition really well. He studies the game. The kid's done a nice job when it comes to that, so it does not surprise me that it went as well as it did.
Crooks has already caught 2 shutouts as he was behind the plate for the team's recent 7-0 win against the Mets. Crooks also contributes offensively, driving in 2 of the club's 3 runs with a 2-out double in the 4th inning. At Busch Stadium, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
I'm Tom Ackerman with this month's Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight, Skin Cancer Awareness this summertime, and we're joined by Dr. Aubriana McAvoy, a WashU medicine surgeon at Siteman Cancer Center.
So one of the biggest warning signs is a spot that's changing. So that could be changing in size, shape, color, or certainly if something has symptoms like itching or bleeding. We call it the ugly duckling sign, which is a mole that looks different from all the other ones on your body. I let patients know they should pay attention to sores that don't heal, scaly spots, or growths that bleed easily. If something is new or changing or just doesn't seem right, it's worth getting checked out. A lot of spots turn out to be benign when you're in at the dermatologist, but skin cancer is much easier to treat when it's caught early.
For more information, visit siteman.washu.edu.
This is Michael McGreevy. Escape to Margaritaville night at Busch Stadium on Friday, June 26th. Celebrate the legacy of Jimmy Buffett with a special pregame performance by the Boat Drunks. With a special theme ticket, you'll receive a Margaritaville-inspired Cardinals cap. Plus, a portion of each ticket benefits Singing for Change. Kick back, relax, and enjoy a night where it's 5 o'clock somewhere, even at 7:15 first pitch. Details and tickets at cardinals.com/theme.
This is Jordan Walker. Celebrate Black Heritage Day, presented by your quality Ford dealers on Sunday, June 28th at Busch Stadium. This special culture and community event honors the impact, history, and legacy of the Black community in baseball and beyond. With a special theme ticket, you'll receive an exclusive Cardinals jersey designed by Corey Rogers. And don't miss a special heritage celebration in Budweiser Terrace before the game. Details and tickets at cardinals.com/theme.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 6:21, and it's time for traffic and weather. We start with Roger Brand, who's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
That doesn't look bad out there so far, Debbie. Starting to slow down at a couple of spots. This traffic reports the service of Ricken Financial. If you're on northbound 55, you've got some slow traffic approaching 141 for about the Church Road overpass through 141 is bogged down. Northbound 55, they're reporting, I don't know if it was a truck towing a vehicle and they lost the vehicle, so I don't think it's blocking. It's supposed to be northbound 141 north of Fiedler. I can see traffic coming through Fiedler at the speed limit. Obviously, the signal's green right now, and I'm not seeing any delays, so I don't think it's much of an issue, but they'll check on it, and I'll try to keep tabs on it for you as well. Start to slow down a little bit downtown also. Eastbound 70, it's still east of Salisbury, like St. Louis Avenue into Tucker, starting to get a little heavy as you get into that exit point between the Musial Veterans and Tucker due to the closure of 44 past that point. Next update is 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Income is the outcome that matters the most in retirement. Join us for Kickin' with the Rickens, Redefining Retirement with Jerry Ricken and Heidi Ricken Provost every Saturday at 3 p.m. right here on KMOX, and get more at rickenfinancial.com.
It's going to be great weather today with a chance, though, of a shower or thunderstorm around from late morning on, becoming breezy this afternoon, a high near 80. So enjoy the morning because it's a nice one. Partly cloudy, low 65. Tomorrow, partly sunny, windy, hot, and more humid with a high of 94. And then some severe thunderstorms could arrive late tomorrow afternoon and early tomorrow night. Severe thunderstorms. So we'll watch for that tomorrow. Right now, it's a clear sky, 59 downtown at the Arch.
It is 6:23, and the news continues. Montgomery County turning into a data center hub. Amazon announcing a $10 billion investment to build a new campus in Montgomery City, adding 400 full-time jobs and thousands of construction jobs to the rural county about an hour west of St. Louis. That's less than a month after Governor Kehoe announced Google putting $15 billion into a data center in nearby New Florence in the same county. Amazon says it will pay 100% of its electricity and infrastructure costs with no rate breaks passed on to other customers.
Tough times for one of the St. Louis region's corporate bulwarks. Here's KMOX's Michael Calhoun.
Centene, the local company that's the country's largest Medicaid insurer, is moving to shrink its workforce after a steep drop in enrollment. The company is offering voluntary buyouts to most of its 61,000 employees and says layoffs could follow. Centene lost almost 2 million ACA members earlier this year after Congress allowed pandemic-era subsidies to expire and is bracing for massive Medicaid cuts that analysts say could cost about 10 million Americans their insurance coverage by 2034. Many of those get that coverage through Centene.
A recent study from Australia takes a look at how social media might affect the health of young people.
This study of nearly 1,200 young people found that just 2 hours a day or more of social media was associated with an increased risk of harm, like depressive symptoms, a poor sense of well-being, and even a risk of self-harm. ABC News medical correspondent Dr. Darian Sutton.
Do we expect to see these effects in later adolescence, high school? We all remember that can be a difficult time, but studies show that using it during the ages of 12 and 13, these children face the highest risk. Researchers noted that the effects were roughly twice as large when looked at during this time period than compared to later adolescence. And girls, unfortunately, were also seemingly more at risk.
Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
As for the UK-style ban on youth social media use, a tech writer tells the Noon Business Hour it would be difficult to pull off.
Tech writer Jennifer Jolly tells the Noon Business Hour several countries have implemented blanket bans on social media for people under the age of 16. Australia's ban went into effect last December. Since then,
in Australia, that started that ban earlier this year, a full 7 out of 10 teens younger than the age of 16 who had a social media account before the ban still have it today.
A number of other European nations are contemplating legislation that would enact similar bans. More than half of high school students in the U.S. are subject to policies that ban the use of cell phones during the school day. Jolly says the attempts at regulation are an acknowledgement that excessive screen time and endless scrolling are harmful to the adolescent brain.
The full through-line message here is we need guardrails, and this is the best anybody's been able to come up with so far.
Rob Hart, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
1 in 10 people between the ages of 55 and 64 has started a new business in the last 3 years. As KMOX's Megan Lynch tells us, there's a new effort to connect these later in life entrepreneurs.
It's called STL Encore Connect. I spoke with Kevin Wilson, executive director of the St. Louis Small Business Empowerment Center, about this Encore entrepreneurial community.
There's so many individuals who have been working at a job and been experts in their field for 30, 40 years, and now want to utilize that same knowledge, that same expertise in their own venture.
Wilson says many of these new business owners have years of experience. STL Encore Connect will help them with the on-ramp. You can find out more on the St. Louis SBDC Facebook page. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
And the 2026 James Beard Award for Best Chef Midwest goes to Lauren Nalick of Balkan Treat Box. That was pretty good.
That was applause.
Last night in Chicago, the owner of the food truck turned Webster Groves restaurant, as well as Telva on the Ridge, became the first St. Louisan since 2017 to win that honor. Nalick was nominated in the category 4 other times. Nick Bogner of Sato and Indo was also nominated this year.
Well, congratulations to Lauren. She's got a great story. So she met a Bosnian, went to the Balkans to learn how to cook food he liked, and now she's a James Beard Award winner.
Yeah, it's about as perfect a restaurant as you can find. It's amazing. 627 Time Check, sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
There's nothing like hearing your friends and family clearly. A grandchild's laugh, conversation with a friend, or the punchline to a joke. Charlie Brennan here with Dr. Colleen Bosler from the Audiology Center. Dr. Bosler and her team understand that hearing is personal. That's why you'll always work with certified audiologists like Adam Voss, Bailey Campbell, and Dr. Colleen Bosler.
That's right, Charlie. We offer hearing aids from all major manufacturers, so our recommendations are based on what fits you best. With us, we follow best practice fitting methods to ensure your hearing aids are programmed precisely for your unique hearing needs. But our care doesn't end when you walk out the door. As we know, hearing aids require continued support, adjustments, and maintenance, and we offer these services at no extra cost to you. Because better hearing isn't just about devices, it's about reconnecting to the moments that matter most. Call us today at 636-441-7470 or visit us online at theaudiologycenterstl.com.
At EasyCater, we believe every workday gets better with great food. The 9 a.m. staff meeting? How about breakfast burritos and lots of coffee? Big client presentation at noon? Let's do Mediterranean bowls. Accounting's gotta work late. Keep them pepped up with spicy noodles. With EasyCater, you get a huge variety of favorite restaurants with tools to help meet dietary needs and stay on budget, all on one platform. So make every workday better with EasyCater. Start an order at easycater.com.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
With summer here and the kids home full-time, your garage door will see a lot more use. Do it a favor with annual maintenance from Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. The 26-point tune-up is one price for up to 3 garage doors and openers. Get them all done. Trusted in St. Louis for 100 years. Always look for the genuine, the original red ribbon of Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Since 1926, they're never going to steer you wrong. Schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Dial # law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
It is 6:30. It's a nice start to the day. Mostly sunny, 59 degrees downtown. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Roger Brand's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we're just getting a little busier on the highways, but overall, it doesn't look bad, folks, as you're driving into town. Northbound 55, as a matter of fact, that slow traffic we had approaching 141's thinned out. It is busy, though. Butler Hill up to 270. Once you get on North 270, though, it's a great run up past 44, up past 64 in Ladue. Eastbound 30, Mauer Industrial over to 270, kind of heavy coming up the hill. Southbound 270 is just a little slow. Ladue down to 64. We look good out west. Southbound 61 on to eastbound 64. Eastbound 70 coming in from Wentzville, no delays. And if you're headed into downtown westbound on 64, there is some slow traffic from the 70 split headed into 3rd Street. After that, you look good. And downtown on the Missouri side, we're still okay. On eastbound 70 coming through Salisbury, but east of there around St. Louis Avenue, it is slow into Tucker. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today is going to be sun and clouds. We could see a shower or thunderstorm late morning on, high near 80. Tomorrow is the hot day of this forecast with a high of 94 and partly sunny skies. It's going to be windy and more humid. And then a couple of severe thunderstorms moving through late tomorrow afternoon and early tomorrow night. And that could be storms with some hail, damaging winds, maybe even a tornado. It's also going to push the hot temperatures out. So 94 tomorrow, then 77 as a high on Thursday. It is 59 right now.
The latest teen takeover. Over a dozen teens were detained with 3 arrested after hundreds gathered downtown on Saturday.
St. Louis City Police spokesman Mitch McCoy says the arrests began when the teenagers entered a city park and began fighting. McCoy contrasts this event to the street takeover from 314 today, saying they could only enforce the curfew once the teenagers entered a city park.
This past weekend, and why you saw us kind of jump from business to business was because there was not a curfew in effect. What we enforced was the park curfew where the juveniles were at.
Asked if the curfew could be moved up again, like for spring break after that 314-day street takeover, McCoy says the chief is having those conversations. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
East-West Gateway Council of Governments Executive Advisory Council meeting to talk about hiring a consultant to help with launching the Partnership for Regional Alignment. If that sounds like city-county merger talk, the executive director tells KMOX it is not.
Jim Wild says this is something East-West Gateway has been working on for about a year.
It's focused on developing a vision for the St. Louis region and then working on aligning all the different sectors that do work in the region to have them all kind of working toward that vision, and then even some cross-sector alignment. So a good example would be every county has their own economic development department. They all do really good work for their counties, but they don't necessarily talk to one another or work toward kind of a common vision or a North Star for the region.
Wild says the object is to get everyone on the same page, not meaning they have to stop working for their counties, but maybe start considering what they can contribute to a stronger St. Louis region. The vote on selecting a consultant will be next Wednesday. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
It's 6:34. The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Your Money Minute next.
Chris Ronchi, Amy Mark Scores. The Chris and Amy Show. It's not the same old talk. It's fresh, it's different, and it's local. Chris and Amy dig into the news that matters, but they also keep it light, keep it fun, and keep you smiling. Serious when it needs to be, silly when it can be. That's pure entertainment with a local heartbeat. The Chris and Amy Show, weekdays at 9 on the Voice of St. Louis, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-720-8444. 314-720-8444. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-720-8444.
It is 6:35, and that means it's time for your Money Minute from Bloomberg. It's sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. America's home builders are growing more pessimistic. Confidence among home builders slipping in June, dragged down by rising mortgage rates and the higher cost of materials. An index of overall market conditions from the National Association of Home Builders fell to 35 this month. Keep in mind, a reading below 50 means that more builders see conditions as poor than good. Stocks are holding steady this morning, pulling back from yesterday's rally. S&P futures are little changed. Dow futures are rising 30. Meantime, health insurer Centene says it will offer buyouts to most employees to cut expenses after membership in its health plans dropped substantially over the last year. A spokesperson did not say how much the company aims to shrink its workforce, but layoffs could follow if Centene does not meet its target through voluntary exits. The company is focused on government health programs, including Medicaid, Medicare, and the Affordable Care Act plans. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
The legendary Fast Eddie at Fast Eddie's Bon Air and St. Louis baseball legend Jason Isringhausen. Izzy, what's going on, man?
You know what, Eddie boy, I've been pretty busy. Got to get out there and got to do the mowing.
Yep, I'll tell you what, when you get done mowing the grass.
Well, I do my best Forrest Gump impression with all of that mowing I have to do around the property.
Do it for St. Louis, do it.
Like Mama said, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get, except at Fast Eddie's Bon Air. What are we going to get at Fast Eddie's?
Let me get it right. You can come on over to Fast Eddie's Bar Bon Air, located on the other side of Clark Bridge in beautiful Alton, Illinois. When you're done mowing the grass, come over here and lounge around with me on the beautiful outdoor patio with all the big screens, the live music playing, the hot chick on a stick.
What about that fancy surf and turf you came up with?
Man, I'm telling you what, that is meat and seafood on one stick. And it's called the Eddie. It's the king of all foods.
Like Mr. Shannon always said, if you're 21 and in the mood, come on over to that Clark Bridge and come see Fast Eddie's Bon Air in beautiful Alton, Illinois.
I love days like these at the pool, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. I'm ready to make a splash with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza. Skyrizi is a prescription-only injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. At 4 months, most people saw 90% clearer skin when measured from head to toe, and many were even 100% plaque-free. People also saw significant improvement in psoriasis symptoms of pain, redness, itching, and burning.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Now there's nothing on my skin thanks to Skyrizi, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZI to learn more.
For the last 33 years, you've discovered that at Banner Construction, we pride ourselves on quality craftsmanship. We believe the single most important decision homeowners must make when considering an exterior restoration project is, who do you hire? At Banner, we provide well-engineered, meaningful, long-term solutions to transform your home into the pride of the neighborhood. Let us help you fall in love with your home all over again. Call 314-569-1050 or visit bannerconstruction.com and have a banner day.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's best eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Today, the Cards, the Padres.
Ameren Total Access 550. First pitch 6:45.
Cardinals Radio. 104.1 FM KMOX.
Coming up on 6:40, let's go to Roger Brand, Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We'll start to see a little more slow going out there, Tom, but it's not bad overall. This traffic reports the Service of Financial and Tax Strategies. If you're on northbound Highway 55, the right lanes are kind of busy approaching Butler Hill through Mattis. After that, you're good to go all the way into downtown. If you're going north on 270, there's definitely more traffic. North of Big Bend up through Manchester, south 270, south of Olive down to 64 is a little slow. Still don't look bad out west. Southbound 61 onto eastbound 64 and eastbound 70 look good coming in from Wentzville. Of course, downtown, eastbound 70 starting to back up east of Salisbury between there and St. Louis Avenue. And for Illinois drivers, there's heavier traffic now. Westbound 64, west of Baugh and 5570 as you approach the 64 merge point into 3rd Street. And also 5570, seeing some slow traffic in that construction zone, 111 about midway into 203. Next update at 6:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
If your retirement plan is mostly what if and a little fingers crossed, you deserve better answers than that. Check out Wealth and Wisdom Saturdays at 7 a.m. here on KMOX. I'm Gary Goldberg. Call 800-966-1690.
All right, it's time for us to tell you more about this forecast. It was sunny in downtown St. Louis. I see a few more clouds moving in, and we can ask our AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg what that means. Storms on the way?
That means that a frontal system's approaching the area from the north and west, and we've probably got about 2 more hours of dry weather before one of these showers or thunderstorms rolls on through. Does not look like they'll be severe based on their timing and based on what I'm seeing on radar right now. Entering the picture to well toward north and west. We'll have to dodge a shower with thunderstorms during the late morning and into the afternoon hours. And with more clouds around later today, that's going to keep temperatures in check again, like yesterday at about 80. Then it dries out tonight, partly cloudy, those 65. Southwest winds are going to send temperatures up into the 90s tomorrow, somewhere between 90 and 94. Humidity comes up, but there's another stronger front that comes through tomorrow evening. So thunderstorms appear likely with and ahead of that late tomorrow afternoon, early tomorrow night. And I think severe weather is definitely in play. That would include damaging winds, hail, flooding downpours, and a risk for tornadoes. Behind that front, much cooler and less humid Thursday with more clouds and sun. A brief shower or thunderstorm, the high 77. Beautiful for Friday with sunny skies, the high 83. Gets a little warmer Saturday, but it stays dry with some sun followed by clouds, the high 87. 61 at St. Peter's, 65 in Florissant, some sun and 64 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Thank you, Joe. One of the best pitching performances you'll ever see at Busch Stadium. Dustin May authored it last night. We'll go through it in 3 minutes.
It is now 6:42, and Missouri Governor Mike Kehoe says the talk about his own reelection can wait. With a big campaign year underway, the first-term Republican tells Fox 2 Capitol correspondent Mark Zinn that his focus is on the races directly in front of him before he weighs his own future.
Are you going to run for re-election?
Well, you have to look at that as we get through these next set of elections. I think it's important to get through this not only August but November election. Certainly, we are honored and humbled that Missourians chose us to do this job. My wife and I take it very seriously. We're going to continue to look at that, and we'll let Missourians decide that.
Kehoe is not up for re-election until 2028, and he would start as a strong favorite. He won the office in 2024 by more than 20 points.
Missouri is one step closer to using a gerrymandered congressional map in this August primary. This comes despite legal challenges. The Kansas City Star reports one of the key court cases has cleared the way for Republicans to go with the new congressional map August 4th. Election officials are preparing for a primary that is most certainly going to generate more legal challenges.
Monday, Secretary of State Denny Hoskins posted on social media the 2025 Missouri First map continues to hold up in court. Hoskins calls it the most compact and contiguous he's been involved with.
St. Louis County Justice Center will have new leadership. County Executive Sam Page, in a release, says St. Louis County Police Captain Timothy Ware will serve as acting director and Lieutenant Tyler Edgecombe as assistant director. Acting Justice Services Director Janelle Coleman returns to her previous role as deputy director. It's 6:44. All right, let's take a look at last night. It was an unbelievable night at Busch Stadium, and you knew something special was happening in this 3-0 game for Dustin May in the 6th.
The pitch is swung on and missed. The third strikeout for May. 2-2 on Song with Duran on deck. The pitch. Swing and a miss. He got him. Threw him a cutter. Tied him up. Back-to-back strikeouts. 4 strikeouts now. Here's Duran with the 1-2 pitch coming his way. Swing and a miss. Struck him out. He struck out the side as May gets a 1-2-3 6th inning. We go to the home half. The Cardinals lead the Padres 3-0.
18 up, 18 down after 6 innings for Dustin May. The perfect game was broken up after he walked Fernando Tatis Jr. in the 7th. And then this.
The 1-0 delivery is grounded to the left side. And, that's a base hit in the hole between Jordan and Wynn. And that's the first hit for the Padres in this game. Jordan couldn't quite get off the bag to make that play, and neither could Wynn, the shortstop. And an even bigger round of applause here at Busch Stadium as Dustin May carried a no-hitter into the 7th inning.
He still has some work to do, and
double play still in order. There's a ground ball to short. Mason Wynn, he's got it, runs to the bag, throws on the run, and he got him! Mason Wynn hustled to the bag, threw a rifle over to Alec Burleson for the double play, and he's jacked about that. Slams his glove into the Cardinals dugout. Big-time play for Mason Wynn.
They have a great relationship, Mason Wynn and Dustin May. They've been there for each other, and what a great play that was by Wynn to finish things off in the 7th. We go to the 8th.
Bogarts tried to check his swing, and he went too far on a sweeper outside. He strikes out. 6 strikeouts, back-to-back games of 6 strikeouts, and 1 walk for Dustin May. The pitch by May. Strike 3 called over at the knees. Wagner does not challenge. Back-to-back strikeouts for May in the 7th. He has struck out 7. He struck out the side in the 5th inning. Pitch. Swing and a miss. France strikes out, and for the second time tonight, Dustin May strikes out the side. Give him 8 strikeouts through 8 innings.
He had it going from the very beginning. Dustin May working on a complete game. He goes back out in the 9th inning, having allowed just 1 hit and a 3-0 lead. He gets 2 flyouts. John Rooney with the call in KMOX for Tatis.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and nobody on. The Padres are down to their last strike. May with the windup. The 1-2 pitch to Fernando Tatis Jr. Swing and a miss. That's a Redbird winner. That's a 1-hitter. That's a shutout for Dustin May. Light up the night. Light it up in downtown St. Louis as the Cardinals celebrate a great pitching performance and 2 out RBIs. 2 for Jimmy Crooks. 1 for Alec Burleson. The Cardinals blank the San Diego Padres 3-0.
Our player of the game this evening. Some nights we see pitchers with good stuff. Tonight we saw great stuff. Dustin May, a 1-hitter. What's going through your mind right now?
Bliss. Super excited to be able to do it for the boys, and it was a great team win.
When did you feel like you had your stuff working for you? Because we've seen you recently really seem like you had it working for you. But what was different about tonight?
I feel like I got better towards the game. I got a little bit more inside my legs and feeling out the zone. So, yeah, I definitely got better towards the game went on.
You know, we haven't had a shutout since 2019. We haven't had a 1-hitter in St. Louis since 2016. Where does this rank for you in your career? Because you've had a pretty good baseball career.
This definitely tops it all, and the St. Louis crowd definitely topped it.
You know, a lot of times people like yourself, you feel it when you're coming out of your bullpen. When did you feel like that was your night?
Probably the 3rd or the 4th inning. After I punched the side, that was when it kind of settled in and my body felt good.
And then when you were pitching with the lead, that had to help. You got the runs early.
Yeah, absolutely. That definitely helps.
So when you go home tonight and think about this, what's going to be the first thing that's going to go through your mind? Because a lot's gone on in the last 2.5 hours.
I'm going to be very thankful to lay on my couch because I'm tired.
Go enjoy yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, Dustin May, our player of the game.
Big Red, Dustin May with the one-hitter. Cardinals win at 3-0. They host the Padres tonight at 6:45. Who's Hot, Who's Not, sponsored by St. Louis Composting. Growing gardens, making memories.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler here. I want to tell you about Burn Balance Complex, which is available at supplement superstores. And look, I've been using Burn Balance Complex since the week that it was released, and you notice the benefits really soon after you get started. Look, what Burn Balance Complex is a complete metabolism system. It is not just a fat burner. It works with your body, not against you, right? It's not bringing a lot of the negativity that other supplements bring. It's nothing but the good stuff. It's a natural weight loss option for people that just don't want prescriptions or injections. Get that. I understand it. And to me, Burn Balance Complex is the best thing I've used when it comes to natural weight loss. Also helps with reducing stress and lowering cortisol levels. You're going to get appetite and cravings control along with that, plus all-day focused energy with no jitters, which is the best part. Look, it's not magic. You got to put in the work. Burn Balance Complex makes putting in the work that much easier. So get out to supplement superstores, tell them Kevin Wheeler sent you, and they'll knock 30% off for you right there on the spot. And you can find your location at supplementsuperstores.com.
Hi, this is Steve Butts from the Crawford Butts Insurance Agency. In 2026, our agency celebrates a momentous occasion as we celebrate 65 years of service to our clients, a tribute to our founder and my dad, Norm Butts. Our staff is ready to assist you with all your insurance needs. So please call me, Steve Butts, at 314-752-2500 or at crawfordbutts.com. For auto, home, and commercial insurance needs, that's crawfordbutts.com.
Grab your shades, your float trip gear, and join us June 17th for Chris and Amy Day at Busch Stadium.
We'll be broadcasting live from the Mississippi Yacht Club pop-up bar outside Gate 1, hanging with fans and serving up some fun behind the bar.
Live music, Fred Bird special guests will all be there. Plenty of chances to stop by and say hello.
Plus, you can sit with fellow Chris and Amy listeners in our special section for just $15.
June 17th.
Chris and Amy Day at the ballpark, $15 tickets.
Get your tickets now, cardinals.com/Chris and Amy.
Go Cards.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM, KMOX. Total Information AM, Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
6:51, time for us to check in with Roger Brandon, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, the right lanes of northbound 55 are slowing, approaching Butler Hill, getting up to 270. Northbound Tesson Ferry's backed up about midway up from Butler Hill to Kennerly. Eastbound 30 is slow up the hill from Mauer to 270. North 270 itself approaching Big Bend most of the way up to Manchester, slowing both ways between 64 and Ladue, getting a little busy. Southbound 61 starting to see a backup approaching Wentzville Parkway, coming down onto the eastbound 70 ramp. But once you get on the eastbound 70 or eastbound 64, they're both in great shape coming across the Missouri River bridges downtown. Eastbound 70 looks good into Salisbury, but east of there starting to see a backup. On the Illinois side, northbound Route 3 backed up Queenie up to Monsanto, then it's slow toward 8th Street. And westbound 64 is on the brakes approaching Ball Avenue, 5570 west to 203, on to 64 through that work zone at 3rd Street. Once you get past that point, then it's okay on across the Poplar. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Brought to you by USPS Ground Advantage.
Pump up the volume. Business moves fast. Pump up the volume. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
Intervals of clouds and sun today. A shower and thunderstorm around from late morning on. Breezy this afternoon, high near 80. Partly cloudy, low 65 tonight. Tomorrow, sunny, windy, and hot, more humid. A high of 94 and a chance of severe weather late tomorrow afternoon into early tomorrow night. Currently, we have clouds in downtown St. Louis and 62 degrees.
The FAA and NTSB investigators are in Butler at the Butler Airport to begin processing the scene of Sunday's deadly air crash of a skydiving flight that killed a dozen people after appearing to fail shortly after takeoff. We get more from ABC's Matt Rivers.
Around 11:30 Sunday, a Pacific Aerospace P-750 plane took off from Butler Memorial Airport in Missouri. 11 passengers and that pilot on board for a skydiving trip. According to city officials, the pilot banks left shortly after takeoff and goes down. A city official says it appears the pilot may have been trying to make an emergency landing on a flat roadway nearby, but the plane stalled and crashed. Tragically, family members may have witnessed the crash.
The Strait of Hormuz may be reopening, but that doesn't mean oil starts flowing right away. Even with the new U.S.-Iran deal to reopen the vital shipping lane, Gas Buddy's Patrick DeHaan tells CNN ship operators won't rush back into a waterway that's been a war zone.
We're just at the tip of the iceberg here, and I think everyone's going to kind of wait and look around and read the room on who wants to tiptoe through the Strait of Hormuz first.
The Trump administration has said 40 to 50 vessels could move through soon, but a sizable backlog is still waiting. DeHaan says it could take a couple of weeks just to rebuild enough confidence to get traffic moving again.
We are officially in an El Nino climate pattern. AccuWeather meteorologist Alex Duffus tells Total Information AM the El Nino could mean a pretty severe weather pattern for June and July, and that could turn into a super El Nino situation, which means...
In the Midwest and in St. Louis, the biggest impact that you will notice during the fall and the winter months is it's actually going to be more mild and typically drier than what we would see in a typical winter.
But a dry fall and winter could lead to a drought situation, and that's bad news for the spring growing season.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement. It's your birthday.
The birthday shout out is sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back. Remember, if you have a birthday or anniversary for this segment, email it to totalam@kmox.com. Happy birthday to Nancy Wangler from the Lambs. Mark Rice is celebrating today, and happy 57th to Jennifer King from your father.
This is the best birthday ever.
Hey, I have something going on today, and it is my book chat that I do every month on our book chat Facebook group. It's Book Chat with Debbie Monterrey and St. Louis Public Library. And if you haven't joined us yet, please do. And today we're going to be checking in with Eileen Giselle. She has a new book out called Lipstick. It's part of Bloomsbury's Object Lesson series. I know, I couldn't believe you could just write a book about lipstick, but it's actually really fascinating. Everything from lipstick's origins and its role in different cultures to feminist politics and the transformative power of makeup. If you have a book that you would like or anything else, I mean, St. Louis Public Library does so much more than just books. They are just a hub for the entire community. You can check out things like, I don't know, fishing poles and tackle telescopes. They have the STL Summer Adventure Program going on right now for kids. They've got award-winning summer camps. It's unbelievable. And events going on every day at Central and any of the neighborhood branches. And the Creative Experience, which is a maker space that is free with your library card. You can get all that information and more at slpl.org, St. Louis Public Library, St. Louis's original search engine, and hope you can join us for our author chat today at noon.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
S&L Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold-filled and silver plates. Before you sell, call S&L. 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. S&L Coin.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-909-9696. 800-909-9696.
Roger Brand with the very latest from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's a little busier downtown, Tom. Westbound 64 bumper to bumper from 25th Street and 5570 from west to 203 on to 64 to the work zone restriction at 3rd Street. Northbound Route 3, Judith up to Monsanto's a lot more backed up. Eastbound 70, you can get through Salisbury, but east of there it's heavy. North 270, a slowdown north of Gravois, Big Bend up through Manchester. Next update at 7:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today is Tuesday, June the 16th. I'm Debbie Monterrey, and these are the stories making news.
Waymo, the self-driving car people, are starting to share pothole reports with cities.
I'm sure that will be voluminous.
I'm Michael Calhoun with the latest.
I'm Sean Malone. The St. Louis City Police Department say they cracked down on a recent teen takeover downtown. I've got that story coming up.
We have an update from the East-West Gateway Council of Governments on the Partnership for Regional Alignment. I'm Maria Kina with what that means for the city and county.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Times of sun and clouds today with a shower or thunderstorm around from late morning on, or high close to 80.
Dustin May with a one-hit gem at Busch Stadium. We'll have the full details at 7:15.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. 5 people now under arrest in an alleged plot to attack the UFC fight at the White House over the weekend. Sources tell ABC News the plan involved hooking explosives onto drones and flying them into nearby buildings, and then what's described as a second wave that would rush a checkpoint. President Trump touting his peace deal with Iran at the G7 summit. Iran's foreign minister, though, says the deal has to include Israel pulling out of Lebanon, something Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says isn't happening. President Trump this morning.
I've had a great relationship with Bibi, but now Bibi has to be more responsible with respect to Lebanon.
The governor of Texas declaring a disaster for more than 100 counties in his state after torrential rain and flash flooding. The Williams sisters are headed to Wimbledon. Serena and Venus getting a wild card entry to play doubles at the tournament, which starts later this month. This is ABC News. It's back to court today for Luigi Mangione, accused of killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson in 2024. Here's ABC's Peter Haralambous.
Mangione was last in court earlier this month, though the judge overseeing his case abruptly blocked the public from accessing the hearing. New York Judge Gregory Caro also rejected a request from a coalition of news organizations to open the hearing or provide a reason why it was sealed, though he scheduled Tuesday's hearing to pick up where things left off. Mangione is less than 3 months away from standing trial on murder charges associated with the 2024 assassination. He's pleaded to not guilty, and a public campaign to raise money for his defense has raised more than $1.5 million. Peter Haralambous, ABC News.
New York City gearing up for the next ticker tape parade down the Canyon of Heroes on Thursday. Since ticker tape isn't really used anymore, 2,500 pounds of office paper is being shredded for the event. Mayor Mandani thinks it might be the biggest parade in New York City's history. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
It is 7:02, and right now we've got cloudy skies and 62 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. In the news this morning, crews have begun working to repair that massive sinkhole that opened up under the I-44 overpass in downtown, not far from the Dome at America's Center. The hole stretches from the middle of the service road to the midway point under the interstate, and it's so wide it came within feet of swallowing up one of the supports. MoDOT engineer Jen Wade says as of Sunday, the column is exposed, and they're shutting down that stretch of 44 as a precaution.
That exposure is not severe, but the conditions on site have the potential to continue changing. Keeping traffic off the bridge above reduces vibration of the columns, preventing further exposure from developing.
Wade says I-44 will be shut down at least through this week, but no clearer timeline of repairs has been provided.
Could St. Louis's pothole-scarred streets get a little help from driverless cars?
In New Orleans, where Waymo is also testing with human drivers, just like here, city officials say the company is building a map of potholes to hand over to the Public Works Department.
I'm sure that will be voluminous, but they are working to gather that data, but we need a lot more information about what that looks like, how they implement that in practice, because it's also, as we all know, something that changes frequently. An intersection might look one way one day and the next day have have a completely different configuration due to construction, due to a traffic light being out.
Ashley Becknell is an attorney for their city council. This is just as big of an issue for New Orleans as it is for us. In NOLA, they're aiming to fill 1,500 potholes a week. The new mayor there trying to turn around perceptions after city government previously let potholes fester for 700 days or longer. In St. Louis, Waymo is still testing with safety drivers after the state law needed to go fully autonomous stalled this spring. In 5 cities across the country, Waymo is automating the pothole program, sending what its sensors pick up directly and automatically to a version of the Waze app that connects with city public works departments. It's identified 500 potholes in those 5 cities during testing. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Also in the news this morning, an estimated 100 unaccompanied minors were roaming downtown St. Louis Saturday evening for another teen takeover until police began detaining them.
16 juveniles were detained and 3 arrested, according to St. Louis City Police spokesman Mitch McCoy. He says many kids took Ubers or Lyfts downtown and calls on parents to be more aware of where their kids are.
If you have the Find My iPhone, if you have Life 360, where you can check to see where your kids are, make sure you take some of those preventative steps.
He says one parent who deliberately dropped her teenagers off downtown to wander has been cited. Asked about preparations for the 4th of July, where teens have created chaos downtown in recent years, McCoy says this year's enforcement will be different, but did not elaborate at this time. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Convicted serial rapist Yahya Mali is set to face sentencing this morning. The 29-year-old convicted in April on 17 counts, including 4 counts of first-degree rape. Prosecutors say Mali sexually assaulted 7 women at his apartment in Baldwin after meeting them on dating apps. It was recommended in April he get 319 years in prison. Again, his sentencing is this morning in St. Louis County Courthouse in Clayton.
Backlash over AI surveillance is reaching the Clayton City Council. Residents of the latest meeting asked officials to reconsider the use of flock safety cameras. One of them, Natalie Dow, pointed to a national case where a Tennessee grandmother was wrongly jailed for 5 months based solely on an AI facial recognition glitch.
Dow argues the situation highlights the danger of relying on automated technology for police investigations.
AI provided the only probable cause for her arrest with no other evidence, and the system worked exactly as designed. She has no recourse. And I think I would like the council to want to ask yourselves, is this the country we want to live in, where AI can provide the only probable cause for evidence?
While that resident claimed the AI system worked as designed in the Tennessee case, North Dakota police later admitted the false arrest was the result of human error after detectives used the tech as a shortcut and skipped basic investigative protocols. Council members listened to the feedback. They didn't have anything related to cameras on their agenda.
The Partnership for Regional Alignment is something the East-West Gateway Council of Governments has been working on for about a year. Today, the Executive Advisory Council is meeting to talk about hiring a consultant.
Some social media posts suggest this is another attempt at a city-county merger. East-West Gateway Executive Director Jim Wild says it's not.
This is about collaboration, aligning work. We've not even talked about merger, reunification, reentry, any of the different forms that might take. This is about kind of the base functional things that we do as a region, and that we need to have a North Star.
The consultant will help engage leaders from the 8-county bi-state region in a multitude of fields, including business, government, arts and culture, philanthropy, higher education, economic development, and others. Wild tells KMOX they have the consultant narrowed down to 1. However, the vote from East-West Gateway Council of Governments happens next Wednesday. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
It's going on 7:08. We'll take a look at traffic and weather next on Total Information AM.
My doctor told me my cholesterol is borderline, so I took control with Garlic Healthy Cholesterol Formula. Garlic helps maintain healthy cholesterol safely and naturally. It's odor and taste-free, and Garlic is a world leader in garlic potency. I'm taking charge of my cholesterol with Garlic Healthy Cholesterol Formula, cholesterol's natural enemy.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. The term natural references only the garlic in the product. Use as directed.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Guys, Kevin Wheeler here for FanDuel Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of KMOX. And I like to joke, and I say it all the time, like my work with FanDuel Sportsbook goes well beyond the time that it came online in Missouri. I used to have to travel to play. Not anymore. Now I get to play at home, and you can too, whether it's baseball season, whether it's hockey, basketball, football, and now soccer. On the biggest stage of the world, FanDuel is stepping up. They are changing the game because sometimes the player you've got gets subbed off and your bet goes off with them, but not anymore. With FanDuel Super Sub, if your player is subbed out, your bet stays in. So that's right. So if your player leaves the match, your bet continues on with the substitute. So you're still in it to the final whistle. No need to go anywhere. You just hang in there. You still got your shot. But visit FanDuel.com/Missouri to get yourself started. Super easy to do. And let there be goals this summer on FanDuel. Just remember, you have to be 21 or older and present in Missouri. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
Let's check in with Roger Brand, Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we're busy downtown, Tom, but a little bit better than maybe 10 minutes ago, but it's still pretty heavy. Westbound 64, you've got delays approaching 25th Street. It's stop-and-go pockets in through the construction zone at 3rd Street, and 5570 because of that is backed up approaching Exchange into that 64 merge on. Northbound Route 3 looks a lot better, just kind of busy. Monsanto to 8th Street in both directions. The backed up traffic on eastbound 70, you can still get through Salisbury, go closer to St. Louis Avenue. Of course, where it starts narrowing down to one lane into the Tucker exit is where you're seeing delays. Northbound 270 approaching Big Bend up through Manchester, then it's just a little slow passing 64. Westbound 64 Big Bend through Hanley, seeing a little volume there. And southbound 61 looks better as well. Just a slowdown south of Wentzville Parkway, just approaching 64 or 70. But once you get on, you're good to go. And I'm seeing some more traffic on northbound 141. It looks like there's a lot of congestion from Hawkins Road headed up to 44. Next update at 7:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather, intervals of clouds and sun today. A shower and thunderstorm around from late morning on. It'll become breezy this afternoon with a high right around 80. Partly cloudy tonight, though 65. For tomorrow, partly sunny, becoming windy, hot, and more humid, high 94. Watch out for a couple of severe thunderstorms late in the day and early tomorrow night. It can cause flash flooding and contain hail, damaging wind gusts, and even a tornado. For Thursday, clouds, limited sun, cooler and less humid. A shower or thunderstorm in the area, high 77. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now, we went from having mostly sunny skies to clouds moving in. It's now 62 degrees downtown.
It's 7:11. A man is rushed to the hospital after being shot at an East St. Louis metro station this morning. East St. Louis Police and Illinois State Police responded to the shooting just before 4 a.m. at the Emerson Park Metro Transit Station. Our partners at Fox 2 report a male victim was seen on the ground of the bus loop with an apparent gunshot wound. At this time, there is no word on any potential suspects. We will continue to provide updates as they become available.
A woman who killed her sleeping roommate at an assisted living facility by pouring scalding vegetable oil on her while she slept has been sentenced to 12 years in prison. 69-year-old Oliveri Jones reached that agreement with prosecutors Monday. The victim had pulmonary disease, and the medical examiner testified that burns aggravated her lung disorder, causing her death. This happened in 2022 at a facility in Walnut Park East.
We will all be old someday, and that could make us vulnerable. Advocates are working to raise awareness since yesterday was World Elder Abuse Awareness Day.
Financial exploitation is the top way people take advantage of older people. The vast majority of the time, it's a relative who's the perpetrator.
A loved one who starts helping a family member with their money and then starts taking a little extra for themselves until that person's bled dry.
Marjorie Moore, CEO of Age Smart Community Resources, says the best protection is robust social connection. The more people you have in your life, the less chance you'll be isolated by an abuser. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
We believe that having a group of individuals who are choosing this as how they will age in place and can support one another is critical in this chapter of their lives.
108 St. Louis seniors living with mental illness can now live in independent housing in the Central West End. Independence Center is opening 38 new apartments for seniors with care available as needed. Trish Holmes leads the center and says the facility is crucial for local seniors living with mental illnesses, as they often face homelessness or live in unstable conditions. Holmes says the apartments will function as a community for those seniors who need a home.
Also in the news this morning, the U.S. Department of Justice says the merger between Paramount and Warner Brothers is not likely to harm competition in the entertainment industry. The statement comes after an 8-month investigation involving over 2 million documents, according to the DOJ. It says the merger will increase competition in the industry, in addition to benefiting American consumers and workers, and that the merging of Warner Brothers with another company is something the industry has survived several times before.
If you were watching the World Cup, you were not alone, because St. Louis is once again proving it's a soccer town. St. Louis, according to Fox televising the game, says St. Louis was one of the top 5 markets in the country watching the USA-Paraguay World Cup match, pulling a 7.3 rating. However, Kansas City actually led the nation with a 9.2, with a 29 share on all TVs on, followed by Boston, and then St. Louis tied with Dallas and San Diego.
In Atlanta yesterday, tiny Cape Verde pulled off a stunning result in its World Cup debut by holding heavily favored Spain scoreless in a 0-0 draw, denying a victory by one of the favorites to win the tournament. Spain, a big shock, the biggest so far at the World Cup, and we'll see what goes on from there. The United States plays Friday afternoon against Australia. Last night at Busch Stadium, what an incredible performance by Dustin May.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and nobody on. The Padres are down to their last strike. May with the windup. The 1-2 pitch to Fernando Tatis Jr. Swing and a miss. That's a Redbird winner. That's a one-hitter. That's a shutout for Dustin May. Light up the night. Light it up in downtown St. Louis as the Cardinals celebrate a great pitching performance and 2 out RBIs, 2 for Jimmy Crooks, 1 for Alec Burleson. The Cardinals blank the San Diego Padres 3-0.
John Rooney with the call on KMOX. Matt Pauley with the story from Busch Stadium.
You can take just about any adjective that has a positive connotation and apply it to Dustin May's start for the Cardinals in their 3-0 win against the Padres. He throws a complete game, 1-hit shutout. The only hit he gives up is a grounder off the bat of Manny Machado that finds a hole. May strikes out 9 while only walking 1, with his fielders behind him making great plays throughout the night. Manager Oliver Marmol points to a collective level of extreme competition that lifts everyone's game.
I just love the way he competes. I mean, you look at him out there and every pitch means something to him. It's contagious because you look at the defense behind him and what Mason was able to do on a couple of those plays and the way he came into the dugout. There's this determination in his eyes of like, I'm going to do everything possible to keep this as a shutout. Like it's impressive. That was a hell of an outing.
It's May's first complete game and shutout. He carries a no-hitter through 6 1/3 innings, making it the second time this season with a no-hit bid at least through 6 innings. The last Cardinal to do that was Jack Flaherty in 2019. At Busch Stadium, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
The Cubs' Pete Crow Armstrong hit for the cycle, then got picked off, but the Cubs beat the Rockies 5-4 last night. The Brewers were idle. They take on the Guardians this week, and the Cardinals gained a half game on them in the National League Central. Milwaukee leads the division by 4.5 games over the Cardinals, with the Cubs sitting 7 games back, Pirates 9 back, Reds 10 back. Both the Pirates and Reds are now under 500 in an NL Central that used to have 5 winning teams. Adrian Rodriguez hit for the cycle and drove in 7 runs as Texas knocked Alabama out of the College World Series with a 14-2 victory. We'll take a look at the Blues coaching staff additions coming up at 7:45. I'm Tom Ackerman. The cut of the game was sponsored by The Diamond Shop, thediamondshop.net.
When it comes to your hearing, you deserve expert care. At the Audiology Center, you're treated by certified audiologists Dr. Colleen Bosler, Dr. Adam Foss, and Dr. Bailey Campbell, meaning 8 years of advanced education, clinical expertise, and a commitment to best practices.
Charlie, we offer hearing aids from all major manufacturers, so you get what's best for you. Every patient receives individualized testing, precise fittings using real ear measurements, and personalized programming to ensure your hearing aids perform exactly as they should. And our care doesn't stop once you leave the office. We're committed to helping your hearing aids last through ongoing adjustments, maintenance, and long-term support at no extra cost. Better hearing is personal, not one size fits all. Call us today at 636-441-7470 or visit us online at theaudiologycenterstl.com. And let's take that first step together.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, Mom, now that I have an after-school job, I think I want to buy a drum kit.
Okay, Rockstar. Let's look at your account.
When kids start making money, Chase has easy-to-use tools and expert bankers to help them learn how to manage it.
And next month, I'll buy the bass drum and the cymbals. Oh, and maybe some noise-canceling headphones for you.
Aw, you've thought of everything.
Help kids save, budget, and build financial independence, all with Chase. That's good for kids and good for parents. Visit your local Chase branch and get started.
Account subject to approval. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
7:20 and time for traffic and weather. We've gone from sunshine to clouds. We'll get an update on your forecast after we check in with Roger Brandon, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, downtown, Debbie, we have backed up traffic on westbound 64. Just a brief slowdown at 159, but then the backup approaching 25th Street. Stop-and-go pockets on through the construction zone at 3rd Street where those right lanes are closed. And, of course, that's affecting 5570 westbound. You're on the brakes at 203 into that same stretch. Eastbound 70 on the Missouri side, you're starting to back up just east of Salisbury, headed for Tucker. But on the south side, eastbound 44 looks good coming in. Past 55, no delays headed for the Poplar or for the Park Avenue exit, which is your last exit on the Missouri side of the river. Northbound 270, north of 44 to Manchester, Clayton Road up to Ladue is busy. South 270, Olive to Ladue is slow. Westbound 64, west of the Science Center to Hanley's heavy. Eastbound 64, 170 into Big Bend, busy. South 170 kind of slower now from Brentwood. And brief delays on eastbound 70 and eastbound 64 at the split. 70 goes into about Highway A, 64 just through Prospect, but then you're home free across the Missouri River bridges. Next update at 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
The new Omaha Steak Store is now open in Baldwin at 15305 Manchester Road in Central Plaza. Stop in today and save 50% store-wide on legendary steaks, burgers, and more. Plus, get doorbuster deals starting at just $19.99. Discover the Omaha Steaks difference today at the new store at Central Plaza in Baldwin.
Well, I don't know if you're having steaks or burgers for lunch or whatever you're having, but you could be dealing with a shower or thunderstorm around that time. Looking at the radar, it looks like that starts moving in here right around lunchtime. Intervals of clouds and sun, shower and a thunderstorm around from late morning on. Breezy this afternoon, high near 80. Partly cloudy, low 65 tonight. Tomorrow is just a really hot day. Sunny, windy, hot, humid, and a high of 94 degrees with a couple of severe thunderstorms late Wednesday afternoon into early Wednesday night. Currently, it's cloudy and 64 downtown at the Arch.
It's 7:22, and one of the biggest employers in the area is looking to cut its workforce.
Centene announced buyout offers for most of its 61,000 employees to start the week, and its stock dropped 4% on the news. The company's membership has fallen 6% in the past year, partly because Congress let health insurance subsidies expire. CEO Sarah London told staff, according to Bloomberg, that when membership shifts, the organization needs to shift accordingly. Layoffs are possible at Centene if not enough workers take the voluntary offer.
That is KMOX's Michael Calhoun reporting.
Anheuser-Busch invests $20 million in its Missouri facilities. That includes the brewery in Arnold and St. Louis, where the company is opening a new technical skills training center. The investment aims to boost the facility's production of Michelob Ultra and is part of the company's broader $600 million investment in its breweries across the U.S.
Governor Kehoe has another major tech investment to announce, this time Amazon committing $10 billion to a data center campus in Montgomery City. Company is promising 400 permanent jobs, thousands of construction positions, and more than $7 million in community contributions, including $3 million for local emergency dispatch services. Last month, the governor announced Google is building a $15 billion data center in the same county.
Will Governor Kehoe run for a second term? Right now, he isn't saying. Asked by Fox 2's Mark Zinn directly about his political future, the Republican kept his options wide open.
Are you going to run for re-election?
Well, you have to look at that as we get through these next set of elections. I think it's important to get through this not only August but November election. Certainly, we are honored and humbled that Missourians chose us to do this job. My wife and I take it very seriously. We're going to continue to look at that, and we'll let Missourians decide that.
Kehoe, who took office in January of last year, wouldn't be up for re-election until 2028. He appointed instead to this year's August and November elections as the more immediate focus.
One of President Trump's former personal attorneys is now a federal appeals judge. He has Missouri roots. The Senate confirmed Justin Smith to the 8th Circuit in a near party line vote, 48-43 over objections from Democrats.
Missouri U.S. Senator Eric Schmidt, who championed the nomination, casts it as part of a larger effort.
He's going to be a great judge, and part of what Trump is doing now is putting more good law and order, rule of law judges on the bench.
Democrats, led by Senator Dick Durbin, argued Smith had been rewarded for his loyalty to Trump with a lifetime appointment. Smith, a University of Missouri law graduate in private practice in St. Louis, has promised to rule impartially.
Missouri is one step closer to using the gerrymandered congressional map, and this August's primary comes despite legal challenges. The Kansas City Star reporting one of the key court cases has cleared the way for Republicans to go with their new congressional map August 4th. Election officials are preparing for a primary that is most certainly going to generate more legal challenges.
Secretary of State Denny Hoskins posted on X, the 2025 Missouri First map continues to hold up in court. Hoskins called it, quote, most compact and contiguous as he's been involved with.
Oil prices are dropping on hopes that the U.S.-Iran ceasefire holds and the Strait of Hormuz reopens. Gas buddy energy analyst Patrick DeHaan warns this is a fragile moment and it could still turn the other way.
If this deal falls apart, heaven forbid, we still could see those oil company executive warnings being accurate with oil prices that still could climb dramatically above $100 a barrel. So by no stretch of the imagination are we out of the woods yet.
Adding to the worry, DeHaan says the nation's emergency oil stockpile, the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, is at its lowest level since 1993, just as hurricane season ramps up. He says it could take until 2030 for Congress to refill it.
In weather news,
the Climate Prediction Center has declared that El Nino conditions are present. Basically, what that means is the waters west of South America and the Americas are warmer than what we typically see this time of year.
AccuWeather's Alex Duffus on KMOX said it means an active severe weather pattern for June and July. If it turns into a super El Nino, it could mean for the Midwest a more mild and dry fall and winter. That could lead to a drought situation and a tough spring growing season.
More than 17,000 fish killed in the Black River tributary in southern Missouri. A wastewater spill from Doe Run's West Fork water treatment plant in Reynolds County led to the massive amount of fish dying in a 2-mile stretch of the West Fork Black River. Matt Combs with the Missouri Department of Conservation says more than 700 tadpoles and 160 crayfish also were killed. The spill happened on June 6th, and on Friday, the Missouri Department of Natural Resources said the situation is no longer an environmental emergency.
It's 7:27. Time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Hey, there's an event coming up Thursday that you may want to participate in. It'll be taking place at the Humane Society of Missouri, the Mackland Avenue location. It's Purses for Pooches. Yeah, it's actually a really fun event with cocktails and wine and hundreds. I don't know if it's hundreds, at least 100. I don't know. I don't know what the count is, but there are purses. So you can buy a raffle ticket, and these are designer purses. I remember there was one that was worth thousands of dollars, And with just one raffle ticket, a very happy person won that one. There's also dogs and puppies and your chance to help the Humane Society's Animal Cruelty Task Force. They do such amazing work, not just in the St. Louis area, but all over the state of Missouri. And I do mean all over. They are rescuing dogs from puppy mill situations, hoarding situations, abuse and neglect, and making sure that they are healthy, happy, and on their way to their forever homes. So if you want to join us on Thursday night at the Humane Society of Missouri for Purses for Pooches, please do. There's all kinds of ways that you can help the animals and help the Humane Society of Missouri. Just go to hsmo.org.
All righty, we are here in summer, and a lot of us are finding that our air conditioners doesn't seem to be cooling cool in the morning, but by afternoon, it never shuts off, and then while you're sleeping, it'll start cooling the house down. You're wasting a lot of money on energy, on your electric. We know how high our electric bills are getting. If it's happening to you, call me. Come out there and take a look at it and get it fixed for you pronto. One easy number, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600. Again, easy number for Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600. Or on the internet, bartinman.com. That is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
A common question I receive is, how is the market right now? It just seems so volatile. Hi, I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. If you want to buy or sell but feel overwhelmed by the whiplash of the market, then let's talk. With over 23 years as a broker, I have the exact experience you need to help you navigate this tricky market. Call me at 314-441-4444. 314-441-ALL-4s. And remember, why pay more than two?
Commissions are not regulated and are negotiable. Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
If you own a small business, the pressure never lets up. Something's always coming at you. That's why business owners turn to LendSeek for funding.
I don't need promises. I need options. LendSeek's AI platform showed me real funding choices. Now I can cover payroll, handle taxes, and go after growth opportunities without the daily stress.
Up to $5 million with funding in as fast as 24 hours. No upfront costs. No prepayment penalties. Start ready, stay ready. LendSeek.com. LENDSEEK.com.
All access with Ollie Marble on the Gas House Gang.
I show up every day looking forward to what's next for this group. This group fits my personality to a T. I love what we're doing. I love how we're going about it. I love the honest conversations. I love the grit. And there's been certain times where I've caught myself where bases are loaded, our backs up against the wall, and I can't help but smile. I show up every day looking forward to what's next for this group.
Ollie Marble, Tuesdays at noon on KMOX.
Looking forward to talking to Ollie today, especially after the performance last night for Dustin May. It's 7:31 and it's 64 degrees, the cloudy sky downtown. I'm Tom Ackerman.
And I'm Debbie Monterrey. Here is Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, downtown, if you're on westbound 64, you've got delays west of 50 through 159. It's jammed approaching 25th Street on over to the work zone at 3rd Street, and that's backing up 5570 at 203 coming into that area. If you're on eastbound 70, you're backing up pretty much at Salisbury now, at least the right lane is, because that's everybody shuttling down to that lane to get off at Tucker. Southbound 170, busy from Delmar down to 64. If you're on eastbound Highway 64, you're slow approaching McKnight into Big Bend. Westbound 64, the Science Center to Hanley is heavy. South 270, just kind of busy Olive to Ladue. Southbound 61 out west, just a slowdown ramping onto the eastbound 70, and then after that, you're good to go. Northbound 270, north of Gravois all the way up to Ladue is busy. Northbound 141 still backed up Hawkins to 4430. West Watson to 270 is kind of slow right now as well. And next update at 8:40 from the overhead, 7:40, from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Weather-wise, we're looking at a day today that could involve a shower or thunderstorm around lunchtime, high near 80, partly cloudy, low 65 tonight. Tomorrow, sunny, windy, hot, humid, high 94 with a couple of severe thunderstorms late tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow night. Currently, cloudy, 64 downtown at the Arch.
Work is underway to fill that massive sinkhole that opened underneath an interstate in downtown St. Louis.
Well, I'm outside the large sinkhole that opened up under I-44 over the weekend, and this thing is massive, far bigger than any swimming pool, and hard to tell right now exactly how deep it is because construction crews are on hand from MoDOT. They've got a perimeter around it fenced off so they can begin repairing this sinkhole that, as you look at it compared to the supports for I-44, it is within feet of some of the supports for I-44. Certainly lucky that this sinkhole opening up wasn't a much larger disaster for the city of St. Louis. Now, as for the repair timeline, that's TBD. Right now, MoDOT is saying they anticipate I-44, this stretch here through downtown St. Louis, to be closed at least a week. How much longer than that remains to be seen. Across from the Dome at America Center, Sean Malone, KMOX News.
There could be an unexpected upside to driverless cars in St. Louis.
Waymo, the robo-taxi company that's been testing on St. Louis roads since December, plans to eventually put its cars to a second use in another test city, New Orleans. Ashley Becknoll, an attorney for the New Orleans City Council, says the self-driving vehicles are sizing up the city's pavement as they drive.
The purpose of these driver tests that they're currently doing is to gather data about the state of our roadways. I know one of the specific metrics they mentioned to us is that they're creating a detailed map of potholes that they will share with the city. I'm sure that will be voluminous.
Waymo's pothole mapping program is operating fully already in 5 cities where its cars operate completely driverless, and the company says it's logged about 500 potholes in those places so far. St. Louis is not on that list yet. The cars here are still in early testing with human drivers after a Missouri driverless car law stalled this spring. Whether our roads get the same treatment is still an open question. We've reached out to Waymo. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. It's 7:35.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
7:36 Money Minute, sponsored by UC Bank. Let's get the very latest.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Despite the interim peace deal between the U.S. and Iran, drivers are expected to pay elevated prices at the pump for the rest of the year. It will take some time for lower crude prices to filter down to what we pay for gasoline. By the way, pump prices have dipped about 10% from the late May high. Turning to the markets, stocks are on hold today as traders wait to hear from the Federal Reserve after their 2-day gathering tomorrow. This will be the first interest rate meeting for new chair Kevin Warsh. The central bank is expected to keep rates steady. And Froyo is making a comeback for those who want to indulge without the guilt. Frozen yogurt shops are winning over Gen Z with fancy toppings like Italian-made pistachio sauce, vibey stores for hanging out, and a pitch that Froyo is a healthy-ish treat. The approach is working, and they persuaded fans to pay upwards of $30 for their Froyo bowl. According to researcher Circana, servings of frozen yogurt have jumped 26% this past year. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
This is the Let's Revitalize Our Neighborhoods commitment. This is the Roll Up Our Sleeves and Pitch In commitment. This is Busey, where our commitment to strengthen our communities is a top priority. Through energetic, engaged volunteers, through monetary support, community leadership, and advocacy. Because Busey is more than a bank that does well, we're a bank that does good. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth, since 1868. Member FDIC.
When pain starts to slow you down, BJC Healthcare and WashU Medicine orthopedic specialists are here to help.
Nationally recognized leaders in orthopedics deliver care that's informed by research and personalized for you. From everyday aches to complex injuries and recovery, we're here to help you get back to doing what you love. Find an orthopedic specialist today. Visit bjc.org/orthopedics or call 314-362-9355.
Sometimes you just got to listen to the customer and what they say, and the Shipleys are raving about McKelvey Homes. This is their testimonial. From our first meeting, the team listened to what we envisioned. Working with McKelvey Homes, we found ourselves truly heard, not just treated like clients, but like partners, creating the home we dreamed of. We never felt like we were being sold a home. That distinction made all the difference for the Shipleys. Every recommendation from plan to finish came from experience and care, and it wasn't just building, it was bringing their vision to life. The Shipleys rave about the communication throughout the project, the transparency that provided them with peace of mind, and they were blown away by the quality of the construction and craftsmanship from McKelvey Homes. Every detail, from high ceilings and open living spaces to intentional finishes in the kitchen and the owner's suite, reflected exceptional care. McKelvey Homes, they're very proud of what they created with McKelvey Homes, and we think you will be as well. McKelvey Homes. Jim Brennan, the president of McKelvey Homes, a great friend. Visit McKelveyHomes.com. Move up to McKelvey.
Staples presents Celebrations Made Easy.
I was throwing a party for the twins and had custom invites and a banner printed at Staples. And that's when I saw Party City is now at Staples.
Party City? No way!
So now Staples has all your printing needs and everything you need for a party.
Everything times 2.
And now at Staples, save 25% on all custom banners.
Party City is now at Staples.
That was easy.
Shop Staples in-store, online, or on the app. Some banners available same day when ordered by 12 p.m. Ins 8-1 exclusions apply.
For 70 years, Rottler Pest Solutions has helped homeowners stay ahead with preventative pest solutions designed to stop problems before they start. From spiders and mice to stinging insects and more, trust the local experts. Schedule your free inspection today at Rottler.com.
Jerry Ricken and Heidi Ricken Provost covered the 3 key pillars of retirement planning: income, risk, and your tax strategy. Join us for Kickin' with the Rickens, redefining retirement, every Saturday at 3 p.m. right here on KMOX.
This is the Gas House Gang from KMOX.
Bernie Nicholas and the Gas House Gang, today at noon on America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
7:40, time for Roger Brand and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
LW westbound 64 is slow, both sides of 159, so approaching and then leaving that area, just a general slowdown. But we're jammed from almost 111 now over to the 70 split. It remains slow, of course, on 64 over to 3rd Street, where you lose those right lanes due to the road work, and that's back in 5570 up at 203. Eastbound 70 downtown is pretty solid from Salisbury on in. North 55 starting to see some slow traffic now from the 3200 Broadway area up onto 44 at Park. Northbound 270 north of Tesson Ferry all the way to Ladouze busy. South 270, 364 down to Ladouze slow. Southbound 61, Wentzville Parkway down on eastbound 70 is heavy, and the 70 from Z to A is kind of off the pace through there. If you're on southbound 170, you're backed up from Olive to 64. Eastbound 64, Lindbergh into Big Bend is pretty heavy right now as well. Northbound 141, still slow from about Hawkins up to 44, and they're reporting a large pothole 44. It sounded like westbound west of Antire, so pay attention. A couple of cars are on the shoulder with flat tires, it sounds like. Next update is 7:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sponsored by Gloria Lou, with your home sold, guaranteed realty, 314-325-6888.
Need to sell your home and you want the most money? The name to remember is Gloria Lou. Yes, Gloria Lou, with your home sold, guaranteed realty at 314-325-6888 and start packing.
AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. I have a lunch later this afternoon. I think you're telling me be careful to get a table outside.
Just be careful. I think that this first line of thunderstorms just going through the Hannibal area right now will be here before lunchtime, probably by 10:30, maybe even 11 o'clock. And then by early afternoon, that one's gone, but there still may be something that hangs around into mid-afternoon. So just keep an eye out in the sky. It does not look like any of this stuff is going to be severe, so that's good news. The high gets to about 80. Partly cloudy tonight, though, 65. It'll be partly sunny tomorrow, windy, hot, more humid day in advance of a cold front. Just a real big surge of heat and humidity, the high 94. But That front that comes through tomorrow evening is going to mean business. There will be some severe thunderstorms with it across the area, and everything's on the table. Flash flooding, hail, damaging winds, yes, even tornadoes. The high gets to 94. Behind the front, decidedly cooler and less humid on Thursday. Clouds, limited sun, maybe another shower or thunderstorm pops up, the high 77. That gets out of the way, and it's a beautiful day Friday with wall-to-wall sunshine and a high of 83. We'll get to 87 with some sunshine on Saturday. Currently 63 at St. Peter, 65 in Florissant. There's a little sunshine and about 65 degrees downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
All right. Thank you, Joe. It is now 7:43. Ukrainian President Zelensky is meeting with President Trump and other G7 leaders in France today. Zelensky hoping to shift focus back to his efforts to repel Russia's invasion now that Trump has signed a 60-day ceasefire with Iran. We get more from ABC's Karen Waugh.
The deal has been signed digitally, but the full text hasn't been released, and the two sides are giving different reports about what it contains. Both sides say the U.S. will lift its blockade of Iranian ports and Iran will reopen the Strait of Hormuz. But while Trump says passage through the strait will be permanently toll-free, Iran says it will establish and collect fees. The fate of Iran's nuclear program, the reason the U.S. went to war, also in limbo. The details to be hammered out during another 60-day period of talks.
Embattled Texas Tech quarterback Brendan Sorsby is now leaving the program. The university came under fire from other schools and even state attorneys general when it decided to stand by the 22-year-old transfer after he'd admitted to gambling on his own team. ABC's Danny New.
After some legal action taken recently by the Big 12 Conference, which Texas Tech plays in, to potentially punish him, Sorsby has now decided to declare for the NFL supplemental draft. A statement from Texas Tech said that this was, quote, the only viable and fair path for him. And there has not been an actual pick in the supplemental draft in years.
What a night at Busch Stadium. Let's get right to it. Ins and Outs sponsored by Innsbrook Resort, where every day is the weekend. Dustin May, remember now, he was flirting with a no-hitter not long ago. That was when the Cardinals were taking on the Brewers. Now, this time around, he's working on another one, and it got serious. In fact, he hadn't given up anything. It was in the sixth inning when people really started paying attention around baseball. Take a listen.
The pitch is swung on and missed. The third strikeout for May. 2-2 on Song with Duran on deck. The pitch. Swing and a miss. He got him. Threw him a cutter. Tied him up. Back-to-back strikeouts. 4 strikeouts now. Here's Duran with the 1-2 pitch coming his way. Swing and a miss. Struck him out. He struck out the side as May gets a 1-2-3 6th inning. We go to the home half. The Cardinals lead the Padres 3-0.
18 up, 18 down. A perfect game going for Dustin May as he heads into the 7th, but he walks Fernando Tatis Jr. Cardinals fans gave him a nice ovation, but the no-hitter was still alive.
The 1-0 delivery is grounded to the left side, and that's a base hit in the hole between Jordan and Wynn, and that's the first hit for the Padres in this game. Jordan couldn't quite get off the bag to make that play, and neither could Wynn, the shortstop, and an even bigger round of applause here at Busch Stadium as Dustin May carried a no-hitter into the 7th inning.
May's teammates said, "We got your back." Take a listen to this.
Double play still in order. There's a ground ball to short. Mason Wynn, he's got it, runs to the bag, throws on the run, and he got him! Mason Wynn hustled to the bag, threw a rifle over to Alec Burleson for the double play, and he's jacked about that. Slams his glove into the Cardinals dugout. Big-time play for Mason Wynn.
What a talent he is. 8th inning, Dustin May still out there.
Bogarts tried to check his swing, and he went too far on a sweeper outside. He strikes out. 6 strikeouts, back-to-back games of 6 strikeouts, and 1 walk for Dustin May. The pitch by May. Strike 3 called over at the knees. Wagner does not challenge. Back-to-back strikeouts for May in the 7th. He has struck out 7. He struck out the side in the 5th inning. Pitch. Swing and a miss. France strikes out, and for the second time tonight, Dustin May strikes out the side. Give him 8 strikeouts through 8 innings.
Listen to the crowd behind John Rudy with the call on KMOX. They know it's a special night. 1 hit allowed, and he goes back out to pitch the 9th. It's Dustin May getting 2 flyouts, and finally Fernando Tatis Jr.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and nobody on. The Padres are down to their last strike. May with the windup. The 1-2 pitch to Fernando Tatis Jr. Swing and a miss. That's a Redbird winner. That's a 1-hitter. That's a shutout for Dustin May. Light up the night. Light it up in downtown St. Louis as the Cardinals celebrate a great pitching performance and 2 out RBIs. 2 for Jimmy Crooks, 1 for Alec Burleson. The Cardinals blank the San Diego Padres 3-0.
Our player of the game this evening. Some nights we see pitchers with good stuff. Tonight we saw great stuff. Dustin May, a 1-hitter. What's going through your mind right now?
Bliss. Super excited to be able to do it for the boys, and it was a great team win.
When did you feel like you had your stuff working for you? Because we've seen you recently really seem like you had it working for you. But what was different about tonight?
I feel like I got better towards the game. I got a little bit more inside my legs and feeling out the zone. So, yeah, I definitely got better towards the game.
He had a great rapport with his catcher, Jimmy Crooks. That's the second time Crooks has caught a shutout this year. Cardinals get the win. 6:45 start tonight at Busch Stadium against the Padres. St. Louis 4.5 games out in the NL Central. Want to tell you about Innsbruck. It is fantastic. I was just telling Debbie we're going to head over there next month with the family, check out Innsbruck, and I can't wait. I mean, fishing, golf, relaxing, hiking, hanging out at the pool, or hanging out at your own little corner of the lake. It is just the best. The privacy, the vacation feeling, and being not far from home, all wrapped into one. That's Innsbruck Resort. Innsbruck-resort.com. How far away is it? Not far, probably an hour or less from where you are. And that's the case right now, being in downtown St. Louis. It's in Warren County, just off the Wright City exit. It's Innsbruck. Innsbruck-resort.com. Parlay of the day, sponsored by Circus Sports. Sports betting the way it should be. I'm going to give you a couple of U.S. Open picks to think about. I really do like Cameron Young, but the odds have really changed. That surprises me. Went from 1,800 yesterday to 2,400 today. Wow, I think that's an even better play. 2,400 for Cameron Young for the U.S. Open. He's playing as well as anybody right now. And then looking down the list a little bit, Brooks Koepka's interesting at plus 4,000. I can't really go there. Kind of like Sam Burns at plus 3,500. Just something to think about with some great value. Parlay of the day, sponsored by Circus Sports. Sports betting the way it should be.
America is turning 250 this year, and Circus Sports is celebrating by offering all users in Missouri $250. For everyone in Missouri, all you have to do is deposit $250 on your Circus Sports app, then play through that deposit. Once you do, Circus Sports will reward you with $250 right in your account. This is available for everyone in Missouri, new and existing users. Celebrate 250 years and find out more at circusports.com today. Must be 21 or older and in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Grab your shades, your float trip gear, and join us June 17th for Chris and Amy Day at Busch Stadium.
We'll be broadcasting live from the Mississippi Yacht Club pop-up bar outside Gate 1, hanging with fans and serving up some fun behind the bar.
Live music, Fred Bird special guests will all be there. Plenty of chances to stop by and say hello.
Plus, you can sit with fellow Chris and Amy listeners in our special section for just $15.
June 17th.
Chris and Amy Day at the ballpark. $15 tickets.
Get your tickets now. Cardinals.com/Chris and Amy.
Go Cards.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
7:52. Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, we still have a jam on the Illinois side. 64 westbound, solid bumper to bumper from 111 overall past the 70 split to 3rd Street into that construction area, and 5570's jam approaching Exchange. If we're going to take the Musial Veterans Bridge, it's slow now from the Illinois bank of the river across into downtown. Eastbound Highway 70, let's call it east of Grand. It's approaching the Salisbury exit where it's backed up on that way into town. If you're coming in from the south side, northbound 55, a little busy. Past 3200 Broadway Arsenal, and then from 44 up to the Poplar, that stretch of eastbound 44 is slow. North 270, Tesson Ferry, all the way to Ladou's busy. South 270, north of Dorset, down through Ladue in pockets, not a solid delay. Same thing on South 170. It's busier now from Midland down to Page and then Olive down to 64. Westbound 64 backs up Kings Highway to Hanley. Eastbound 64 from Mason pockets all the way into Big Bend. Southbound 61 north of Wentzville Parkway down onto 70 and 70 from Z to A is backed up out through that stretch. And northbound 141 still backed up Hawkins to 44 and Clayton Road up to 64, which is pretty busy. And there are a couple of cars on the shoulder westbound 44 west of Antire, so watch for a pothole in a traffic lane in that area. Next update is 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We could see some rain late morning and possibly into the afternoon. High near 80 today, partly cloudy, low 65 tonight. Tomorrow, sunny, windy, hot, more humid, high 94, and a very good chance of severe weather late tomorrow afternoon into early tomorrow night, says AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg. It's 64 right now.
St. Louis has a new import from across the Atlantic. The latest BioSTL partnership is with the UK's NHS. It aims to bring the British digital health and AI innovation into the U.S. market. KMOX's Michael Calhoun asked what kinds of products are in play, pharmaceuticals or medical devices or lines of code. BioSTL Global Lead Vijay Chauhan said the answer is a lot.
What kind of things are we talking about from the UK?
Yeah, so it is all of that, actually, Michael. That's the key, right? It's all of that, and St. Louis is uniquely positioned to help take advantage of all of that.
Chauhan says a big focus is technology that lets patients be monitored at home instead of constantly traveling to the doctor. Plus, he calls AI a force multiplier for a system short on doctors and nurses. BioSTL holds its 10th Global Health Innovation Summit in October.
At what age are adolescents at most risk for social media affecting their mental health? A new study found out.
This study of nearly 1,200 young people in Australia found that just 2 hours a day or more of social media use was associated with an increased risk of harm, like depressive symptoms, a poor sense of well-being, and even risk of self-harm. ABC News medical correspondent Dr. Darian Sutton says you'd think high school students might be the most affected, but this study found kids in early adolescence were more at risk.
We understand that the ages of 12 and 13 are critical for a couple of different reasons. That's when kids start to have access to phones and access to social media. That's when you start to develop your sense of self. Peer review becomes incredibly important. We know that age. And also self-identity and body image becomes something that's noticeable. Researchers noted that girls focus more on appearance-centered content, and that can maximize and unfortunately intensify those complications and that social comparison, and that can likely lead to these outcomes.
Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
It's called the pita, Turkish wood-fired flatbread with cheese, herbs, your choice of topping, and all kinds of goodness. It's one of the greatest things I've ever eaten. And
Tom has been talking about Balkan Treat Box all morning.
And for years. And so have you. The 2026 James Beard Award for Best Chef Midwest goes to Lauren Nalick of Balkan Treat Box. Last night in Chicago, the owner of the food truck turned Webster Groves restaurant became the first St. Louisan since 2017 to win that honor. Nalick nominated in this category 4 other times. Nick Bogner of Sato and Indo also nominated this year. That is a big-time award. The only thing I regret is it means the lines are going to increase at my favorite place.
Because it's busy during lunch.
Yeah.
It's a busy place.
I go kind of just a little
go early
trick.
or late.
I go late.
Yeah.
I go like 2:30. Yeah.
It's worth it, though.
Oh, yeah. 7:56.
I'm Andrew Stoles, and this is KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
All right, Lederman Law Firm. What a great, great bunch of people. Really appreciate them. And I mean people, because when you think of estate plans, you think of documents. But I'm here to tell you that Lederman Law Firm is much, much more than that. Tom Ackerman, my family has been working with Lederman Law Firm for over 20 years. One of the things I really appreciate is that I don't just work with one person. I work with a team. I've dealt with several different people there over the years. You can tell right away it is a true team. Lawyers to paralegals to legal assistants. Everyone knows the plan. Everyone is working towards the same goal. You never feel like you're being handed off and forgotten. The dedicated funding team makes sure your assets and your beneficiaries are actually lined up with your plan, your accounts, your property, all of it working together the way it's supposed to. That's how it's supposed to be. The Lederman Law Firm's team, a huge reason that we trust them. If you're in St. Louis and you want an estate plan that actually works, check out the Laderman Law Firm, Laderman, Laiderman law.com, or call 314-514-9100. The choice of lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
You can never have too many tools. Shop DeWalt deals at Lowe's. Get a free Select DeWalt 20-volt max power tool when you buy a Select 20-volt max 5-amp-hour battery kit. Plus, get a free additional DeWalt 20-volt max 8-amp-hour battery when you buy a DeWalt 10-inch 20-volt max dual-bevel compounded miter saw. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 6/24 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Considering buying or selling a home? When it comes to the Gelman team with eXp Realty, numbers don't lie. Over 1,500 Google and Zillow 5-star reviews, nearly 6,000 homes, and $2.5 billion in real estate sold. Call 314-336-1991, thegelmanteam.com.
Retirement. Exciting in one way, scary in others. How do you find the financial advisor that covers all the bases? Join Greg Ayler Saturdays at 1 on Fire Your Financial Advisor.
Well, we still have jammed traffic on westbound 64 from 111 over to 3rd Street, 5570 on the brakes at Exchange. Eastbound Highway 70, you're backed up between Grand and Salisbury coming into downtown. Northbound 270 slow, approaching Gravois all the way up to Ladue. South 170 is busy, Olive all the way down to 64. Next update at 8:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood, the voice of St. Louis.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. An alleged plot to attack the UFC fight at the White House on Sunday night, foiled by the FBI. Sources tell ABC News that 5 people are now under arrest after hatching a plan that involved using drones armed with explosives. President Trump is at the G7 summit in the French Alps, says the Iran peace deal is a good one, but says ABC News senior political correspondent Rachel Scott, we still don't know much about the agreement.
Senior administration officials say the deal broadly reopens the Strait of Hormuz and lifts the U.S. blockade on Iranian ports. While the president insists the strait will be permanently toll-free, Iran says they do plan to collect fees for services. And there are still lingering questions about if Iran will get a payout.
Investigators are still looking for the cause of the crash of a B-52 in California. 8 people were killed. And the home of the personal pan pizza is changing hands. Yum Brands, owner of Pizza Hut, is selling it to a private equity firm for $2.7 billion. This is ABC News. Life-threatening flash flooding has been swamping millions of people across the South. Here's ABC's Hannah Battah.
The governor of Texas declaring a disaster for more than 100 counties across the state. In Waco, highways turned into rivers.
There's a car just floating down the median.
Vehicles washed down the interstate as fast-moving water overtook the road.
Literally, I'm not kidding you, thought I was going to die out here.
First responders rescuing dozens of people, even using ropes to pull one trapped driver to safety. In Houston, stranded motorists forced to push their cars through flooded streets as debris drifted by.
A freight train and a bus collided in Zimbabwe today, killing at least 9 people, including 2 children. The crash happened less than a week after a minibus caught fire in central Zimbabwe, killing 7. Kensington Palace has announced that Prince George will attend Eton, the private all-boys school his father and Uncle Harry both went to. Cost for a year's education is about $84,000. I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
At 8:02, we have partly cloudy skies, 65 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Tuesday, June 16th. I'm Megan Lynch. How long could it take to repair that massive downtown sinkhole under Interstate 44?
Well, this new sinkhole that opened up is certainly something to behold. Not just the massive size of it, but how close things were to potentially being even worse. If you look underneath I-44 at some of the supports down here, this sinkhole, which is about 40 feet long, 20 feet wide, If it's a little wider, it potentially swallows up one of the supports for the interstate as well. Now, I can't get any closer than the about 30 feet I am away from it right now because MoDOT crews are on hand. They fenced that area off as they begin working to repair the sinkhole. Also, the city's water division appears to be here working on some of the water lines that caused this sinkhole. As for that repair timeline, TBD, last update we got over the weekend from MoDOT was that this stretch of I-44 through downtown St. Louis would be closed at least a week. Across from the Dome at America Center, Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Could St. Louis's pothole-scarred streets get a little help from driverless cars?
In New Orleans, where Waymo is also testing with human drivers, just like here, city officials say the company is building a map of potholes to hand over to the Public Works Department.
I'm sure that will be voluminous, but they are working to gather that data, but we need a lot more information about what that looks like, how they implement that in practice, because it's also, as we all know, something that changes frequently. An intersection might look one way one day and the next day have a completely different configuration due to construction, due to a traffic light being out.
Ashley Becknell is an attorney for their city council. This is just as big of an issue for New Orleans as it is for us. In NOLA, they're aiming to fill 1,500 potholes a week. The new mayor there trying to turn around perceptions after city government previously let potholes fester for 700 days or longer. In St. Louis, Waymo is still testing with safety drivers after the state law needed to go fully autonomous stalled this spring. In 5 cities across the country, Waymo is automating the pothole program, sending what its sensors pick up directly and automatically to a version of the Waze app that connects with city public works departments. It's identified 500 potholes in those 5 cities during testing. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Convicted serial rapist Yahya Mali set to be sentenced this morning. The 29-year-old convicted in April on 17 counts, including 4 counts of first-degree rape or attempted rape, 8 counts of second-degree rape, and 5 counts of first-degree sodomy. Prosecutors say Mali sexually assaulted 7 women at his apartment in Baldwin after meeting them off dating apps. In April, Mali was recommended for 319 years in prison. He'll face sentencing this morning at 9 a.m. at St. Louis County Courthouse in Clayton. The controversy surrounding police camera technology spreading from University City to Clayton. We've told you about University Cityans successfully pressuring their council to halt a camera expansion after allegations the hardware could include undisclosed microphones. Now some Clayton residents want a closer look at their own town's contract. Edward Fisher warns his council not to trust the surveillance giants.
I hate them. I think they're a complete intrusion in people's lives. AI surveillance. The FLAC representatives lie to city councils repeatedly. We just recently saw in U City, the council just found out that they had microphones on their flock cameras where they didn't think they did. They're atrocious surveillance tools, and we shouldn't have them in the city.
The camera company Flock has maintained its audio detection technology is designed for gunshot identification, not for recording private conversations. Clayton council members listened to the comments but did not indicate that they will reevaluate the surveillance contract. East West Gateway Council of Governments Executive Advisory Council meeting to talk about hiring a consultant to help with launching the Partnership for Regional Alignment. If that sounds like city-county merger talk, the executive director tells KMOX it's not.
Jim Wild says this is something East West Gateway has been working on for about a year.
It's focused on developing a vision for the St. Louis region and then working on aligning all the different sectors that do work in the region to have them all kind of working toward that vision, and then even some cross-sector alignment. So a good example would be every county has their own economic development department. They all do really good work for their counties, but they don't necessarily talk to one another or work toward kind of a common vision or a North Star for the region.
Wild says the object is to get everyone on the same page, not meaning they have to stop working for their counties, but maybe start considering what they can contribute to a stronger St. Louis region. The vote on selecting a consultant will be next Wednesday. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
Montgomery County turning into a data center hub. Amazon announcing a $10 billion investment to build a new campus in Montgomery City. That would add 400 full-time jobs and thousands of construction jobs to the rural county about an hour west of St. Louis. It comes less than a month after Governor Kehoe announced Google is putting $15 billion into a data center in nearby New Florence in the same county. Amazon says it will pay 100% of its electricity and infrastructure costs, with no rate breaks passed on to other customers. We'll get a check of traffic and weather for you in 2 minutes here on Total Information AM. It's 8:08.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
America is turning 250 this year, and Circa Sports is celebrating by offering all users in Missouri $250. For everyone in Missouri, all you have to do is deposit $250 on your Circa Sports app, then play through that deposit. Once you do, Circa Sports will reward you with $250 right in your account. This is available for everyone in Missouri, new and existing users. Celebrate 250 years and find out more at circasports.com today. Must be 21 or older and in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
You care about every detail, and so does Purina. Every ingredient in their pet food comes from trusted sources, and every ingredient has a purpose. Whether that purpose is to provide just the right nutrients your pet needs or a flavor they will love, Purina has over 250 recipes made without artificial flavors or preservatives for you to choose from. You're sure to find something both you and your pet will love. Learn more at Purina.com.
A divorce is more than just legal paperwork. It's a life change. The stress, the uncertainty, the tough conversations. Cordell & Cordell understands what it's really like to face the unknown. The law firm of Cordell & Cordell has been representing clients during these transitions for over 35 years, helping you focus on what matters most. If you or someone you know is facing a divorce or family law matter, visit CordellCordell.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis. Joseph Cordell, Principal Partner.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts, Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
8:10. It looks like there are still a lot of slowdowns on the roads this morning. Roger Brand has an update from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, we're still jammed downtown, Megan. Westbound 64 approaching 25th Street to 3rd Street in the work zone there, and 5570 because of that is backed up at Exchange. Musical Veterans Bridge is a little slow at the Missouri end. Eastbound 44 from 55 up to the Poplar, or past Park Avenue anyway, is slow as well. Eastbound 70 are backed up between Grand and Salisbury, running into Tucker, where you have to exit the highway, obviously. Southbound 170, busy from Delmar to 64. Westbound 64 approaching Hampton to Hanley's heavy. Eastbound 64, you've got slow traffic east of Mason to 270, and then east of Lindbergh into about Big Bend. Southbound 270, Dorset down to Olive, but then it opens up north 270, a little backup at 44, and then Big Bend all the way up through to Ladue is busy. Eastbound 44 near Antire, they said the left lane, there were numerous potholes. There's at least 3 cars on the shoulder with flat tires there, so use caution if you're headed that way. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Intervals of clouds and sunshine today. Watch out for a shower and thunderstorm to cross the area from late morning on. The breeze will pick up this afternoon. The high today near 80. Partly cloudy tonight, 65. Tomorrow, a mix of sun and clouds, windy, hot, and more humid with a high of 90 to 94. There can be a couple of strong to severe thunderstorms around late tomorrow afternoon and early tomorrow night. They can produce flooding downpours, contain hail, damaging winds, and even a tornado. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
This hour, we have partly cloudy skies, 67 degrees in Florissant. It's 65 in St. Peters, 65 downtown at the Arch. This is Total Information AM on 104.1 FM KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. So-called teen takeovers are a top concern right now, not just in our region, but across the country. What start as spontaneous mass gatherings sometimes escalate into violence. I reached out to John Pulse, a psychotherapist and clinical social worker who works with teens and young adults, to get some insight.
I'm thinking about these teen takeovers, and I'm thinking, how is this different than when kids cruise the strip and maybe got in a fight every once in a while?
Yeah. Well, so there's a couple differences that I would say that's one of the reasons why it's getting so much attention, and it's the sheer volume and the amount of people. And I think what's different today, I mean, it's the same adolescent mind, it's the same adolescent mentality. that really hot or cold thinking, not really thinking through the consequences of the actions they're about to take. But the difference is with the advent of social media is the gatherings are allowed to be much larger. They're able to cast a much wider net to the full teen population in the area, where before it would maybe be these isolated groups. They kind of have to meet up, they'd have to call each other, they'd have to go to each other's houses. Now there can be an announcement on a big group chat on Instagram or something like that. And so that's one of the reasons why I think this has gotten so much attention lately.
Do you think it's been amplified by coverage on social media and by news outlets?
Absolutely. And that's always something that ends up happening. It's newsworthy, certainly. And so they want to garner more attention. But then when a lot of these teens who, they want to experience this rush, they want to experience, being, maybe they'll be filmed, right? Maybe they'll get on TV, maybe they'll be talked about. And so as more attention is garnered, they really kind of lean into it more.
So, as someone who works with teens and young adults, what do you see happening here? Why are teens doing this?
So, I mean, the first thing is that, there's a groupthink mentality that really happens amongst teens, right? Which is that, when teens are with each other, the off switch kind of doesn't exist. And so, they may be able to behave differently with their parents or, even at times in school, church or religious settings. But when they're only with each other and they only have each other to react to, it kind of just escalates to this point of trying to join the group. They want to be a part of it. Even if there's a part of them that says, maybe this isn't a good idea, maybe I could get in trouble, that part is soon taken over by, I want to be part of the group, I want to be included, and I really want to be a part of this.
How much of this do you think might be a reaction to some years of isolation, both during and after the pandemic for this generation of kids?
I think that's absolutely a contributing factor. When kids were not allowed to go to school, not allowed to be part of each other, not allowed to play sports, that really caused, a lot of isolation. But what I think it's more of a situation where, teens really, they want to feel like they're a part of something. And the social media piece is huge too, because a lot of these kids are live streaming while they're doing it. Right. And so they want to be recognized. And so they're getting these dopamine hits by the likes and the comments and the shares and the people reaching out to them. So this ability to broadcast it as well is really a huge factor.
So when it comes to the way adults react to it, are we making it worse in some ways?
So the main way I think they're making it worse is by giving it all this attention. And so, for example, sometimes these types of, teen takeovers, they do require some elements of law enforcement intervention. And that's normal and reasonable. But when it's a bit more sensationalized, when there's tons of different officers, people are, I've seen one that people were throwing up in riot gear, right? That kind of amps them up and gives them more attention, more media attention, more films and clicks and compilations of different reels that are being shared. So the main thing is to not give it too much attention. And then the other thing too is that what I've come to find is that a lot of the adults in their teens' life are actually aware that this is happening. And so instead of, they just try and take a hands off, well, they're kids, but there could be real consequences for these kids going to this. So I really recommend that adults, they try and intervene on an individual level. And then from a broader scale, the attention that's being drawn towards it is really counterproductive, and I think just leads to more teens wanting to do this.
So how should police handle it, especially in a situation where they don't want kids hurting themselves or others, and they don't want any damage to property because of the responsibility to the community?
Yeah, so it's such a hard situation, and it's a difficult one to answer. And I certainly don't envy any law enforcement that has to intervene on any of these teen takeovers, because they don't want anybody to get hurt. They don't want property damage to happen. But I think there tends to be with a lot of these law enforcement interventions, they want to just dominate them initially. And I think that if they're approached in a different way, an assertive and direct way, but maybe with less theatrics, and if the riot gear is not necessary, maybe less officers, and really some specialized training for officers to just interact with teens in general. And I think the other piece too is that more preventative measures would be good. If there's particular areas where they're hearing about teen takeovers and that it may happen, to really just have some law enforcement officers there, so that when they start to arrive, maybe they're given a second thought before they actually follow through with it.
Should there be clear consequences?
Yeah, there should be clear consequences. I think the tough part about that is, so it's a two-part answer. Yes, there should be consequences, but I think we also have to recognize the consequences, they need to be proportional. And I think inherently in a teen's mind, they're not really concerned about what the consequences are. But I think there needs to be a general message sent about what the legal or academic consequences could be with participating or even organizing something like this.
A lot of people are pointing the fingers at parents. Once a kid is able to drive, or you drop them off someplace thinking it's going to be a structured environment, where does your responsibility stop and end? How do you have these conversations with your kids?
So the first thing I'll say is that whenever a kid does something they're probably not supposed to do, the parents get blamed. Being a parent this day and age is really hard. It is very rare that there's a household where both parents aren't working full time and then some. They're simply not able to monitor their teens as well as perhaps they had in the past if there was one parent staying at home. And I think as a parent, we're ultimately responsible for our kids' behaviors. With that being said, these teens are often independent. They're driving, they're going somewhere after school. You can't confine them to the house. But I think the best thing that parents can do is try to continue to establish a close relationship with their teens. There's this mentality that it's kind of a rite of passage and normal for the teen to separate from their parents and become more entrenched in their friend group. But what all the research suggests is that if you can maintain a close relationship with your teen, they're less likely to engage in high-risk behavior. It doesn't mean they're not going to do it, right? Or they're not going to try, but at least if you have that established relationship, it really can go a long way. And so what I always tell parents is to a reasonable extent, try to force your kid to spend some time with you. Go out to dinner with them, spend some time with them, play video games with them, do whatever it is that you're spending time with them so that closer relationship is formed. Yes, there's a normal process of what's called individuation. You want to individuate from your family. That's normal part of the teenage years, but you can still do that while maintaining a close relationship with your parents.
That is John Pulse, a psychotherapist with Full Life Comprehensive Care. It's now 8:20. Let's see how things are moving on the roads for you. Last time we checked in with Roger Brand, there was still a lot of traffic downtown. Roger, how's it look?
Yeah, it's still backed up on the Illinois side, Megan. This traffic reports the service of Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. So we want to talk about our USPS Ground Advantage reliable route. If you're sort of south of downtown on the Illinois side, 255 over to Camp Jackson and come up Route 3, you'll avoid all that traffic tie-up. And if you're north, an easy one is the McKinley Bridge, or the Musical Veterans Bridge is a second option, but McKinley's the best. But westbound 64 still has a jam. West of 111 over to 3rd Street, 5570 still jammed at Exchange. Downtown eastbound 70 is still jammed approaching Salisbury up to Tucker as well. Northbound 270 slow from 44 all the way up to Ladue. South 270 Olive or 364 down through Olive is busy. South 170 Delmar to 64 is heavy. Eastbound 64 Lindbergh into Big Bend, you've got delays. Westbound 64 is crowded from the Science Center to Hanley. And eastbound 44, I talked about these potholes. They're going to be shutting down the left lane. At least 4 cars have hit them and gotten flats. It's eastbound 44 midway down the hill between Antire and 141. So stay out of that left lane. Call Overhead Door Company of St. Louis for their 26-point tune-up. It's one price for up to 3 garage doors and openers. Always look for the genuine, the original red ribbon of Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We'll have a mix of clouds and sun, a shower, thunderstorm possible, breezy this afternoon, a high near 80. Right now, partly cloudy skies, 65 degrees downtown at the Arch. Coming up on Total Information AM, World Cup security has a lot of layers. KMOX's Michael Calhoun gets insight from a former FBI agent.
The pitch. Mason Wynn hits it hard. Deep left field. That ball's out of here.
Community America Credit Union has been helping people like you and me, shortstop Mason Wynn, to win big for 85 years. Cash back with your free checking. Win. No service fees or minimum balance. Win. Bank anywhere, anytime with their app. Win. So yeah, with Community America, you can win, and so can I, Mason Win. Community America Credit Union. Invested in St. Louis, invested in you.
For the last 33 years, you've discovered that at Banner Construction, we pride ourselves on quality craftsmanship. We believe the single most important decision homeowners must make when considering an exterior restoration project is, who do you hire? At Banner, we provide well-engineered, meaningful, long-term solutions to transform your home into the pride of the neighborhood. Let us help you fall in love with your home all over again. Call 314-569-1050 or visit bannerconstruction.com and have a banner day.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You just testified under oath you're getting more fiber in your diet, and it was easy. Where is this additional fiber coming from?
Mira Fiber Gummies.
Objection.
It's true. Mira Fiber has 8 grams of fiber to help me get the fiber I need in a day, plus 4 B vitamins for metabolism support, all in one serving.
Overruled.
My gut rests its case.
Oh, that's my line.
Find Mira Fiber today at your local retailer from the makers of Miralax. Mira Fiber supports metabolism of carbs, fats, and proteins. Serving size is 4 gummies.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
Well, as we continue on KMOX, Michael Calhoun with you. Security at major sporting events from, of course, we're talking a lot about the World Cup, to the Knicks, to the UFC fight at the White House, perhaps maybe a World Series parade in St. Louis. No, I probably shouldn't get ahead of myself on that. But crowd control is top of mind. And let's talk right now on Total Information AM with Rich Frankel, former special agent in charge of the FBI in New York. Thank you for being with us, Mr. Frankel.
My pleasure, Michael.
So take us through what the layers of security might look like for a large stadium, large arena kind of an event.
So, well, let's start with the World Cup. At each of these stadiums, they've been working on security for at least a year, between FIFA, their security, the private security at all these stadiums, local law enforcement, state law enforcement, federal law enforcement, federal intel agencies, and even the military is helping out with some of the drone technology. So it's been an ongoing effort at each stadium to have their own plan in place as to how to best protect the public and the athletes, but all using basically the same basic game plan to go forward.
You mentioned drones. Of course, the technology is having a big impact. Can you take us through the types of methods that are being employed?
Sure. So they're using AI technology across the board, whether it's in the drones or in cameras that are stationed at, all the stadiums. This AI technology is assisting in identifying the threats that sometimes even the human eye can't make out because of the amount of people. It's able to identify a threat, and if there is a threat that they identify, it's transmitted to a command post. The command post then can have police officers immediately respond to that threat location, see if it's truly a threat or just something that was percolating at the time. So that's one way. Other ways that they're using technology is through drones. They've put up fly zones around almost every one of the stadiums, but law enforcement themselves will have drones up, also using the cameras, other technology to identify threats. Then they have other technology that they're using for egress, entry into the stadiums, so that when people are coming in, you don't have as the crowd that you normally would have when you're coming into these stadiums. People are able to get in a lot quicker because of the new technology that they use to identify anything that people are carrying when they're coming into the stadiums. So all this technology together, plus the technology that they're using to identify threats from around the world, has really helped law enforcement.
This could be expensive, of course. When it comes to the World Cup, there was a debate involving Foxborough, Massachusetts, and who's going to pay for it. And so generally, who does foot the bill for this kind of increased security?
Yeah, that I've seen actually across the board. A lot of the cities were not very happy with the amount of cost that the security is going to that it is costing the taxpayers. But a lot of it is federal law enforcement coming in with their technology. But when you have to have cops on the street, handle security, it's got to be paid by somebody, and it sounds like it's going to be each of the local, government areas, the local municipalities. The only good thing about that is hopefully they're making a lot of money because of these events.
Rich Frankel, former special agent in charge of the FBI in New York, helping us go behind the scenes of those keeping us safe as all of these big summer events take place. Rich, thank you so much for being with us on KMOX.
Thank you, Michael.
Coming up, we're going to check gas prices for you around the country and here in the St. Louis area. It's now 8:28. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
It's Tom Ackerman. Let's see what's going on at the MAC now. We have the MAC Clayton, brand new, 14th and 15th floors of the Pierre Laclede Center, restaurants, bars, an outstanding place to hang out, socialize, maybe get a little work done too. You have the MAC West, that's pure fun and workout facilities, racket courts, of course, the famous outdoor pool, restaurants, everything else going on there. Downtown, they have a pool as well, indoor. They're also a hotel, so it's about eating, drinking, event space, workout space, all of it downtown in an 11-story building. The Missouri Athletic Club's no longer one place. It's now 3 in the St. Louis area. They have speaker series downtown. They have great areas for events west. And, of course, the MAC Clayton, the brand new space they're very proud of. They're the Missouri Athletic Club. MAC-STL.org, the Missouri Athletic Club.
Let me tell you something about insurance. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year, so do the gaps and the risk. So go to supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. Supersure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
It's 8:30. Let's head back to the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center. How's it look out there, Roger?
Well, really no change downtown, unfortunately, Megan. This traffic reports a service of Huff Heating and Air Conditioning. Westbound 64 still bumper to bumper approaching 25th Street to 3rd Street, and that's back in 5570 up between 203 and Exchange. Westbound 64 on the Missouri side, about the Science Center to Hanley, still slow. Eastbound 64, a little busy east of Boone's Crossing briefly, but then it's just heavy the whole way from Lindbergh to Big Bend. South 170 bogs down at Olive. South 270, just a brief delay through 364, and then it's not bad. North 270 is busy from Big Bend up to Clayton Road, and then 64 up past Ladue. And that left lane's closed. We have multiple potholes in the left lane, eastbound 44, about midway between Antire and 141. Traffic is backing up as you approach Antire on eastbound 44. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
For dependable, no-pressure home comfort solutions, turn to Huff Heating and Air Conditioning. Locally owned and family-operated for over 40 years. Our team will work with you on a plan that fits your home's needs with financing available. And as always, your family's comfort is our family's business. Learn more at huffheating.com.
From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, we could see a shower or a thunderstorm around today, a mix of clouds and sun, otherwise and breezy this afternoon. A high near 80, partly cloudy tonight, an overnight low 65. Right now, partly cloudy skies, 65 degrees downtown at the Arch. Gas and oil prices are down since skyrocketing after the Iran war began, but they still have a long way to go before they're back to the levels from before the war, and other travel costs may remain unchanged for a while. Elizabeth Schultze, tracking the latest.
The national average right at $4 a gallon, and Gas Buddy does expect that number could go down to $3.75 by the 4th of July if shipping does start to pick up in the Strait of Hormuz on Friday. There are still some big ifs there. One is that shipping companies are still waiting for clarity on this deal, with the ceasefire potentially expiring in 60 days. Airlines have said that fares won't drop this summer. Demand for travel has stayed strong, even with those higher ticket prices. And other businesses that we've been talking to, from grocers to farmers, do tell us that they are still paying those fuel surcharges. As we've seen with overall inflation, prices can go up very quickly, and then it can take time for them to come back down.
AAA reports the average price for a gallon of unleaded regular in Missouri today, $3.72. The St. Louis average is $3.85. And coming up, would you dump the pump if you could get a free transit pass? We'll tell you more this morning at 8:50.
Last year, we had 295 trials where we've been offered a total of $90 million on all those cases. When the dust settled, we had recovered over $1.1 billion in verdicts and mid-trial settlements. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. We became America's largest injury firm for a reason. We won a lot, $30 billion and counting. The best part of all those wins is that it helps you when you hire us. All those wins allow us to let the insurance company know we mean business. And believe me, they know who we are. If you've been injured, Google Morgan & Morgan results. You're not bragging if it's a fact. 3 million people tried to hire us last year alone. That happened for a reason. Visit forthepeople.com and let's get started this minute. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40, and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-329-1010. That's 1-800-329-1010. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. That's 1-800-329-1010. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Your Money Report now, sponsored by Eamon Gattner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys. Here's Bloomberg's Courtney Donahoe.
It's official. Pizza Hut has been sold. Private equity firm Long Range Capital is buying the chain from fast food giant Yum Brands for $2.7 billion. Yum said last year that it was conducting a strategic review of Pizza Hut after years of trying to revive the chain. This morning, the Federal Reserve kicking off its two-day meeting. Policy officials are gathering for the first time under new chair Kevin Warsh. The central bank is widely expected to hold its benchmark rate steady when the meeting wraps up tomorrow. And a number of financial technology firms have been cutting jobs lately. Add Robinhood to the list, which says it's cutting 10% of its workforce. The company says it wants to remain lean and disciplined as it develops new products. In addition to the cuts, Robinhood will close a small number of open roles all across the company. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Stay with us. Coming up, 3 local artists preparing to visit the new Obama Presidential Center being dedicated this week in Chicago.
This is Jordan Walker. Celebrate Black Heritage Day, presented by your quality Ford dealers on Sunday, June 28th at Busch Stadium. This special culture and community event honors the impact, history, and legacy of the Black community in baseball and beyond. With a special themed ticket, you'll receive an exclusive Cardinals jersey designed by Corey Rogers. And don't miss a special heritage celebration in Budweiser Terrace before the game. Details and tickets at cardinals.com/theme.
The weekend starts here. Grab your crew and kick it off at Friday Night Live at Busch Stadium. Every Friday night home game, Budweiser Terrace turns into the hottest happy hour in the Lou with $5 beers, $5 hot dogs, $7 margaritas, live music, and more all game long. Meet up with friends, soak in the energy, and keep the night going with baseball under the lights. Good vibes, great deals, your new Friday tradition. Get tickets now at Cardinals.com.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-909-9696. 800-909-9696.
Staples presents Celebrations Made Easy.
I was throwing a party for the twins and had custom invites and a banner printed at Staples. And that's when I saw Party City is now at Staples.
Party City? No way!
So now Staples has all your printing needs and everything you need for a party.
Everything times 2.
And now at Staples, save 25% on all custom banners.
Party City is now at Staples.
That was easy.
Shop Staples in-store, online, or on the app. Some banners available same day when ordered by 12 p.m. Pins 8-1 exclusions apply.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com.
This is 104.1 FM KMOX. Here's what's happening. The U.S. Air Force says 8 people aboard a B-52 bomber that crashed shortly after takeoff at a military base in Southern California's Mojave Desert are dead. FBI Director Kash Patel says law enforcement officials disrupted planned attacks meant to target the UFC cage fighting show at the White House this past weekend. Multiple people are in custody. And a Luke Skywalker lightsaber from The Empire Strikes Back expected to fetch at least $1 million at an upcoming auction. Let's see if things are easing up on the roads. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we've got delays downtown. It's a little bit better, though, Megan. This traffic report's a service of Ricken Financial. If you're on westbound 64, it is backed up from 25th Street to 3rd Street, 5570, still delays at Exchange. Also seeing a backup on eastbound 270 through 157, roadwork related, I think. On eastbound Highway 70 downtown, you still have that backup from Salisbury on into Tucker. Northbound at 270 is still heavy north of 44. In fact, it's jammed north of Big Bend. We have an incident before the Clayton Road overpass. I can't see what's blocking, but it's jammed till you get to that point. Opens up at Clayton Road, and then it's still kind of busy north of 64 up through Olive. South 270, Olive to Ladue, slow. Southbound 170, Olive down to 64, stop-and-go pockets. Westbound 64 backed up Hampton to Hanley. Eastbound 64, Lindbergh in through the Interbelt. You've got delays, and we've still got this left lane closure on 44 east of Antire. It's jammed approaching Antire due to multiple large potholes. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Join Jerry Ricken and Heidi Ricken Provost for Kickin' with the Rickens, Redefining Retirement, every Saturday at 3 p.m. right here on KMOX. And get more, including the Kickin' with the Rickens podcast, when you visit RickenFinancial.com.
Mix of clouds and sun today. We could see a shower or thunderstorm into this afternoon. Breezy this afternoon with a high near 80. Right now we have partly sunny skies, 65 degrees downtown at the Arch. Thanks for listening to Total Information AM here on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. 3 retired teachers, artists, and friends will soon make the journey to visit the new Obama Presidential Center being dedicated this week in Chicago. All feel a deep connection to the 44th president, the first African-American president of the United States. Peggy Neely Harris is a retired teaching artist turned arts entrepreneur. She got involved in the Obama campaign in 2008.
And I still have the T-shirt. Yes, I saved that baby. But it was an exciting time for me to be able to support Obama's presidency.
Cheryl Rogers is a retired science teacher and fashion designer. Her father attended the 1963 March on Washington. She remembers when President Obama was elected.
We were all on the phone at the time of his announcement. And when he won, we decided then we're all going. We all went to his first inauguration. We got our tickets that night. We met. It was the most amazing time of my life.
And Thomasina Clark, also a retired teacher, creative writer, and theater producer, she visited the White House during the Obama administration.
Just knowing that, here's this African American family in the White House, and I'm in the White House with them, and it's quite an amazing feat.
Now more of our conversation about the Obama Center and its focus on art.
We've been through Jim Crow.
Absolutely.
We've been through the Civil Rights Act. We've been through the marches. We've been through all of that. And we're still going through that. Unfortunately, we're still going through that. We're still looking for change, which is what President Obama was the audacity of hope.
Yes.
We're still looking for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
That's basically
pride.
his mantra, right?
Yes. Hope. And just the pride of the first African American in the White House under the presidency, because he was not the first African American in the White House.
Sure.
There were others.
When we look at the fact that you're all artists and, you expressed yourself in artistic ways and you're going to a place where you're going to be immersed in it now and the story of the Obamas, what are you hoping that you take away from this experience?
That's a real good question.
A deeper understanding of connection and community, because it's open to everybody and there's something for everybody on every level. I'm just wanting to come away with a deeper awareness and understanding of community.
Well, when we think about history, African American history in particular, it's not just a matter of bemoaning and groaning what has happened, in the past for African Americans. It's a reflection. And by going now to the center where the first African American has, developed this center, now is a time of renewal and renewal for us now. We reflect every single year for Black History Month. We reflect every single year for Juneteenth, and some of us throughout the whole year, the whole 12 months. But to see this place now and to be there to support the center is more now of a reflection for me and a renewal. I can come away now knowing that I can do this, and this, and I can put that and instill that into every student that I work with in the arts. And that's my main goal, basically. I'm a storyteller at heart. And, well, these guys know, but just to go back and do what I do all the time. I'm an interpretive artist. I present the lives of African American women who have made significant contributions to society. And so now when I go, I can bring in the Obama experience and say, well, when I was there, this came up in my spirit, in my soul. So now I'm telling you that you can. Yes, you can.
Yes.
So it's more of a renewal now for me.
Yeah.
And an honor. It's an honor to see him getting his rewards, his flowers. I went to a birthday celebration last Sunday, and the gentleman who had the celebration brought us all together to give us flowers, and not for us to give him his. And this is an opportunity, I think, for President Obama to shower us with flowers and to, let us know that if I can, you can.
Yes.
What will it be like to be in a place that is perfectly safe and welcoming?
It probably will bring me to tears.
I've had a lot of people say they walk away with tissue.
What would you say to people who would criticize the design of it, the shape of it, the reflection room at the top, the choice of artists?
It's not your building. It's not your creation. You can think and have an opinion as you wish, but nobody consulted you because it's not your project.
It's like Cheryl and I sew. We create fashion, and you might not like it, but I love it. Yeah. And then vice versa, you might love it, and I think you might have created it and said, make this for me. And I say, okay, I'll do that, but it's not my love, but that's what you like. So as they say, beauty is in the eyes of the beholder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I was at a workshop in New York City, and we were taking an art class. Well, not an art class, but it was a creative arts, class. And they were told that art is never wrong.
I like that.
It's never wrong because it's what you have been designed to do. It's what you have been gifted to do.
Yes.
So for people who would look at it and create it and not and to talk about the creation of it, I don't think they may have been looking or they are looking at the whole picture. It's more than just a building.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a symbol.
It couldn't be more timely considering what is happening in the world today.
For me, it's a breath of fresh air.
Yes.
It's an awakening, an opening. It's a place of hope. It's a place where you're not afraid to think outside the box. So yeah, that's what I feel about it.
I'll go along with them. Yes.
That's Thomasina Clark, Cheryl Rogers, and Peggy Neely Harris, retired teachers, friends, members of the St. Louis arts community, traveling together to experience the new Obama Presidential Center in Chicago. Coming up next on Total Information AM, we're going to give you an opportunity to dump the pump for the whole month of July. Find out more next.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Hey guys, it's Glover. Right now, buy 4 windows and get 4 free and 48 months with 0% interest, same as cash. Call 314-334-2522. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
Hi, this is Steve Butts from the Crawford Butts Insurance Agency. In 2026, our agency celebrates a momentous occasion as we celebrate 65 years of service to our clients, a tribute to our founder and my dad, Nor Butts. Our staff is ready to assist you with all your insurance needs. So please call me, Steve Butts, at 314-752-2500 or at crawfordbutts.com. For auto, home, and commercial insurance needs, that's crawfordbutts.com.
SNL Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold-filled and silver plates. Before you sell, call SNL. 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. SNL Coin.
Grab your shades, your float trip gear, and join us June 17th for Chris and Amy Day at Busch Stadium.
We'll be broadcasting live from the Mississippi Yacht Club pop-up bar outside Gate 1, hanging with fans and serving up some fun behind the bar.
Live music, Fred Bird special guests will all be there. Plenty of chances to stop by and say hello.
Plus, you can sit with fellow Chris and Amy listeners in our special section for just $15.
June 17th.
Chris and Amy Day at the ballpark. $15 tickets.
Get your tickets now. Cardinals.com/Chris and Amy.
Go Cards.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Welcome back to Total Information AM. I'm Megan Lynch. Thursday is Dump the Pump Day. There's an offer for a free transit pass if you keep your car parked. Let's find out more with Travis Wood, Senior Director of Citizens for Modern Transit. He joins me now on the Quiver River Electric Gas Line. Good morning, Travis.
Good morning, Megan. Thanks for having me this morning.
What is Dump the Pump Day?
Absolutely. So National Dump the Pump Day is a day which encourages people to leave their car at home and give transit a try so they can save at the pump. So just an opportunity for people that maybe don't ride public transit regularly to get out there, give it a shot, and see how much money they can save.
Travis, on average, how much could people save if they parked their car and took transit for a month?
Yeah, absolutely. So, it kind of depends on everyone's individual circumstance, but the American Public Transportation Association has done research on this, and they found that people can save $13,000 annually or $1,100 a month if they're exclusively riding transit. And even if you're not doing that, just a few times a week, you can really see savings right away.
Travis, a lot of people might ask if we really have the infrastructure that we need in this region for someone to be able to rely on public transit on a daily basis.
Yeah, again, it really depends on your situation, where you work, where you live. But there is a great, transit in this region is just a great resource, whether it's the Metro bus system or Metrolink system. And even if there's not a transit stop right by your front door, there's a lot of park and ride lots that you can get to easily and then jump on the system and very affordably explore the region, whether it's in Missouri or in Illinois.
I know your organization has done a lot of studies on transit. What are some barriers when people say, they can't or don't want to access public transit?
Yeah, again, it depends on the situation. Some people, it might be a convenience thing. Some people might have concerns about safety and security. We've seen a lot of great improvements in terms of safety and security, especially with the secure platform plan that's out there now. And a lot of opportunities for transit to be convenient for you, again, with this park and ride lots and all the opportunities to see where it can take you. And that's why this offers such a great opportunity. People can go to dumpthepumpstl.com, register, get a free 30-day pass, and they can see how it works for them, whether it's just a few times a week or whether they want to ride it more regularly. They can give it a shot, and it's really flexible for them.
Give us some more details of that. So there's a window to apply for this free month pass?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, if they go to dumpthepumpstl.com starting tomorrow, June 17th at 5 p.m., they'll be able to register. And that registration period is only available for 24 hours. So 5 p.m. on the 17th through 5 p.m. on the 18th. They'll have a contact form they can fill out, and we'll mail out those 30-day passes. And there's also a link on there to see what your cost savings are for transit. So you can put in your specific information and see what it can save for you.
I noticed that. I'm going to have to go on there and see what I could save if I could take transit in every day. When people do this, when you've done this in the past, what do they tell you about the experience?
Yeah, it's really great to hear from people that don't ride transit regularly and they give it a shot and see if it works for them. And, there's the savings at the pump. There's also the savings just on the wear and tear in your vehicle and the maintenance, but also the savings on stress and just not being out in that traffic and that congestion. It's a different perspective that you can take into work. Pop your earbuds in, listen to some music, and let someone drive you to work. Look out the window and kind of see the region from a new perspective. So I think people are surprised all the different places that they can get to, whether it's the bus or the train, and just what a pleasant experience it is and kind of how fun it is to get around in a different way.
So again, give us the details on how people can apply to get one of those free passes for July.
Yeah, starting tomorrow at 5 p.m. And for that 24-hour period, just visit www.dumpthepumpstl.com. You can register for that 30-day pass, and we'll mail those out. And you can get information on cost savings for riding transit.
Travis, thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you so much.
That is Travis Wood, Senior Director of Citizens for Modern Transit, joining me this morning here on KMOX. Coming up tomorrow morning, as you may have heard, Missouri has passed innovation zones that would give credits for developers that turn high-rise business buildings, office buildings, into apartments. I'm going to talk to a developer that has some different thoughts on this and who may actually be able to take the most advantage of this program. So join me tomorrow morning in the 8 o'clock hour of Total Information AM here on KMOX.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Health Trends, sponsored by Ethos. You may